Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Joe Pauw wanted to be a head coach in the CFL, but nothing could have prepared him for what his Lions have gone through in his first year. They've lost games on blocked punts in the final minutes, on touchdowns in the final seconds. And week by week, Pauw watched helplessly as BC carried leads into the fourth quarter, only to give up a big play late in the game, like Calgary's Jeff Garcia running through and over 4 Lions for a very important major. But nothing could compare to last week.
BC Lions playoff hopes quite likely ride on this kick. Fleming puts it up. And this is to the right. Philpott's got to bring it up. Philpott's going to kick it out. Now, the BC Lions should be careful not to touch the ball.
I have never seen a game lost like that ever.
So today, after last week's heartbreak, Joe just wishes for a win, and that's a wish he just might get. From Taylor Field, it's the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You're always live and interactive. You can play QB1 with this afternoon's football game. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the CFL Live on TSN. I'm Darren Detish, and we're glad you joined us for this afternoon's football game. Let me introduce you to our studio panel. To my right is columnist for the Globe and Mail, Marty York. To his right, the coach, Bob Obilovich. And out on the wing, we've got TSN football analyst, Leif Pedersen. Hey, Coach, let's start with you. Both the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the BC Lions have 4 wins in the season apiece. They are not going to the postseason. But you say there are a lot of similarities when you look at these two teams.
Well, their seasons are very identical. Both of them had problems in terms of winning football games, losing a lot of close games. Their quarterbacking's been inconsistent. They both rely on the running game. They're second and third in the league in rushing. Mims is the comeback story of the year with Williams and Philpott's running the ball for BC. They can move the ball on the ground. And then, of course, both defenses are pretty darn good. They both have good talent. They just haven't been able to win close games.
So, Leif, how do they get up for this football game? What do the players do? They know they're not going to the postseason. What's their motivation?
Well, Darren, you know, I think it's simple. I have very rarely met a football player that, regardless of whether the game meant something or not, did not want to go out and personally play well for his own personal pride and for everybody else that had paid to come and watch him play. So I think that takes care of itself. But, you know, you look no further than a guy like Jimmy Kemp will start at quarterback for Saskatchewan today. What a terrific opportunity for him to show his head coach, Jim Daly, what he can do. Listen, quarterbacking has been their biggest problem all season long. They were fiscally responsible. They didn't test the free agent market. It looks as though, at least for the rest of this year, they're going to go from within. Next year, who knows? So for a Jimmy Kemp, this is a heck of an opportunity for him to show what he can do.
You know what? One of the real positives for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year has been the play of Robert Mims. The coach touched upon it. Without question, he's a comeback player of the year in the CFL, Marty.
And not only is he the comeback player of the year, Darren, but he's also, I think, the outstanding player in the West. I think you'll see him against Doug Flutie, I should say, in the outstanding player nominations. Robert Mims is the only player to exceed 1,000 yards in the CFL rushing. I mean, he's a remarkable story because he's been out of football for the past 2 years. He's 32 years old, and he's the reason that I think Saskatchewan will win the game today.
Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders predominantly tough at Taylor Field, but they're only 3-5 so far this year at home. For his thoughts on the football game, let's go to Taylor Field. Here's Gord Miller.
Darren, you can say what you want about the BC Lions, but when they lose their composure, they do it all the way. Last week, this is a team that lost its mind, lost track of the rules, and lost the football game to the Edmonton Eskimos at home. Think back to the last play of the game, or what we thought would be the last play of the game. Sean Fleming tries the field goal. The score was tied. He misses. So if Corey Philpott can get it out, we're going to overtime, right? Well, yeah, until Brandon Hamilton, a second-year player in the league, jumps on the football, forgetting the no yards rule. That gives Edmonton a second try at the field goal. Fleming makes it, and the Lions lose the football game. Glenn Suter, you said last week you had never seen a football team lose a game like that. Now, a week later, how do the Lions bounce back?
Well, I think what they have to do, and Joe Paopao has to respond to the two problems that he had and address the problems. The first penalty from Brandon Hamilton, rest assured, everyone in the Lions uniform right now knows the no-yard rule. The other one was the Mike Trevathan penalty, and I'm sure Joe Paopao said to his team, never put yourself above the team.
Now, here at Taylor Field today, the marquee does not say auditions today, but it might as well. They want to know who their starting quarterback will be next year here in Regina, and Jimmy Kemp is the guy who's got a shot at the job, but he's in the hot seat.
Well, Jimmy Kemp has 2 games to prove that he can be a starting quarterback here in Saskatchewan, because the talk of the town is that Kevin Mason is the quarterback of the future. The guy has a cannon of an arm.
Yeah, Jimmy Kemp had 3 interceptions last week for Saskatchewan, so he'll hope for better results today. 2 teams out of the playoffs, but battling for jobs. Darren?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. One game this afternoon. The Montreal Alouettes improved to 10-6 in the season as they knock off Ottawa 39-25. Now for the BC Lions this afternoon, they will have Mike Trevathan. He is in the lineup. He was involved in a controversial play last week. We'll discuss that play at length coming up a little later on. Stay tuned.
Who's next?
NEMS is a direct marketer. Things like checks and forms and business cards and labels. You know, being in a small town doesn't hinder our business at all. The majority of our customers use either the Advantage toll-free phone or fax lines.
And really, the 1-800 lines are the lifeline between us and our customers. We've had an increase of about 35%.
If our 1-800 lines went down, we'd be out of business.
Advantage, providing solutions for business.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you by Corel, world leader in CD-ROM technology.
Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina on Fan Appreciation Day. And fans here would appreciate a win to prevent their team from being in the basement in the CFL's Western Division. It's a brisk day here, 5 degrees Celsius. The wind from the northwest, and it is chilly at 24 kilometers an hour, but no snow today, which was in the forecast. Joe Paopao played for a time here in Saskatchewan. The first-year head coach has seen his team go through some ups and downs. His team has led 14 times in the 15 games it's played this year, but has 11 losses. And also a first-year coach, Jim Daly of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who has seen his team endure a year in which they, too, have won only 4 games. Lou Pasaglia sends the kickoff short. This is Aaron Ruffin from the 36-yard line. Ruffin trying to get outside the coverage. Andre Strode forces him back in, but Ruffin across midfield gets down to the BC 50-yard line. The stop is finally made by Henry Newby. Starting lineups today brought to you by Corel. Jimmy Kemp, the 25-year-old, gets the start. 7 interceptions this year. And last week threw 3 interceptions and was sacked 8 times by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He's got the league-leading rusher, Robert Mims, with Mayfield, Farthing, Harrison, Narcisse, and the offensive line centered by Paul Vida. Good return by Ruffin. Ruffin sets the Riders up with good field position. This is Robert Mims, who fights his way down to the 47-yard line for a pickup of 3 against the BC Lion defense, trying to shake off what happened last week.
Yeah, and it's a real young defense. Up front, you have Tyrone Rogers, Dave Jaders, and Joe Fleming. The linebackers, Henry Newby replaces Shelton Quarles. He's joined by Virgil Robertson, David Mieva, and Tyrone Chapman. And it's a young secondary. Brandon Hamilton and Reggie Carthon on the corners. Andre Strode and Kelly Sims are the halfbacks. And Tom Europe is the free safety.
On 2nd and long, here comes the rush. Kemp under pressure, gets it away, but nobody there. Dan Farthing ran up the field, and Kemp threw the out. So it's 2 and out for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The wind is very brisk here, as we mentioned, and you wonder if perhaps they'll think about trying the field goal with Frank Jaggis. It would be a long try, some 54 yards, but there's plenty of wind here in Regina.
Well, Frank Jaggis is coming out onto the field, so they are going to go with the field goal. Jimmy Kemp is the holder. So if there is a fake in the Saskatchewan playbook, it might be a good time to run it right off the bat. You got good field position and only 6 yards to go for a first down.
Jaggis from the 54-yard line. He's got lots on it, and it is good. A wind-assisted 54-yard field goal for Frank Jaggis. The Saskatchewan Roughriders open the scoring on their first possession as they lead the BC Lions 3-0. The CFL Live returns to Taylor Field right after this.
The reviews are in. Leading industry publications agree that Corel WordPerfect Suite 7, the world's best word processor, is now an unbeatable Office suite.
Corel Suites include better internet features than Office or Smart Suite. Feature for feature, the new Corel Suite outperforms the competitors. Now it's Microsoft's turn to play catch-up.
Shouldn't you use the best?
Corel WordPerfect Suite 7. It's unbeatable.
Oh, hi. It's Midas days, and that's why we can't afford a color commercial. But what we've saved, we're passing on to you. Until October 26, Midas will give you a lube, oil, and filter, top-up fluids, test antifreeze, rotate your tires, set the pressure, and check lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. And they'll even inspect your brakes for free. See? It's right here in black and white. Midas, the way it should be. Oh, yeah. Offer ends October 26th.
When you need a sealant that's got to stick, Mono Ultra does the trick. Mono Ultra. When it calls for the best, the choice is clear. There won't be anything like it for years. Mono Ultra. It works in the sun. It works in your shower. You wash up with water and make it an hour. Exterior ceiling's a whole new drill with Mono Ultra. It cures fast, it won't shrink or crack, and it's completely paintable. Mono Ultra. Get the Mono.
Frank Jaggis with a 54-yard field goal, his longest of the season, wind-assisted, and in baseball terms, Glenn, this was a frozen rope.
Well, I was going to say, when you get the wind at your back, you usually put a little air under the ball, but Frank Jaggis just kind of nailed that one. Low driver.
Lions on their first possession, taking it at their own 35-yard line, working into the wind. And on first down, the give goes off to the fullback, Sean Millington. Millington's got room to the outside. Millington straight arms the safety, Dave Van Bellingham, who finally drags him down inside Saskatchewan territory at the 49-yard line. The pickup is 26 yards.
Well, it's just a little off-tackle play by Sean Millington. Millington back in the lineup. He had a bruised knee last week and did not play. Paul Blackwood played fullback, but you know the BC Lions happy to have a guy with the ability and running ability of Sean Millington. He gets outside, and then it's just safety Dave Van Bellingham. It's the last guy to bring him down, or he scores.
First down from the 49. Early movement, and it looked like left tackle Craig Hendrickson was the man who jumped, and 3 officials saw it quickly. Both the Hendrickson brothers are playing today. Craig for BC and Scott for Saskatchewan, and their dad, Lefty, a former tight end for BC, is here today as well.
Illegal procedure. BC 58.
Bud Steen, today's referee, and
You see, oops, Big Craig just took off to pull to the right there a little bit early. And, you know, I saw him and his brother throwing the ball together in the warm-up today, and I got kind of teary-eyed. There's the two brothers throwing the ball back and forth. They said, what are you guys going to do? Kiss before you go off the field?
That's a pretty mental picture. The Hendricksons kissing each other. I can live without that. First and 15 from the 54-yard line. Allen to throw for the first time. Swings it out of the backfield for Corey Philpott, and it falls incomplete. Damon Allen has come to Taylor Field with 4 different teams in the 1990s with not much success. He's lost 8 of the last 9 games he's played here, but he's been the key to whatever success BC has had this year. Larry Thompson and Ted Alford are the wide receivers. They've got only 2 touchdown catches between them. Clark and Trevathan get most of the work, and we'll have more on Trevathan later with the studio show. And the last all-Canadian offensive line in the Canadian Football League, centered by Carl Coulter. Second and 15 for the Lions. Allen to the sidelines and incomplete, looking there for Ted Alford, who was open. Benson Donaldson was there with the coverage, but the pass falls incomplete.
Wow, you can't blame the quarterback for that throw. Ted Alford runs the out pattern on Benson Donaldson, makes a nice break. Donaldson playing way off him, but that ball was put right on the hands and just straight out dropped the ball.
And so Lou Pasaglia will come on to punt. Lou Pasaglia kicked at Taylor Field when they had natural grass here. That was 19 years ago. Pasaglia tries a low burning kick into the wind, a pretty good one. Aaron Ruffin picks it up at the 28-yard line, and flags are down as the Lions were within the 5-yard restraining zone, and no yards, a dirty word to say around the BC Lions, as we talked about in our opening, but not much they could do that time, just the 5-yard bounce back rule. So Saskatchewan will get its second possession after a 27-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia into that breeze, and Don Narcisse comes on the field.
No yards.
Don's next catch,
BC 43,
will extend his CFL record to 161 consecutive games, and will also tie him with Rocky DiPietro for second on the CFL's all-time reception list. His former teammate Ray Elgard, who retired earlier this year, is the CFL's all-time leader. But Narcisse not seeing the football nearly as much as he did earlier in the season. On first down, Kemp to throw quickly, and it's incomplete. He was looking there for Rod Harris.
Well, the Lions had great pressure on the play, and Jimmy Kemp couldn't get that ball outside and throw it in the direction he wanted to because of the pressure from Tyrone Rogers. Number 91 is right up there. You see, wasn't picked up by Pete Shorts, the right tackle. He was right in there on Kemp, and he had to change directions of that throw in mid-motion.
So the BC defense will pin its ears back on second and long. Lots of time for Kemp. And incomplete, looking there for Don Narcisse, who was well covered on the play. Reggie Carthon was there, along with the nickelback Robert Holland. So back off goes the Saskatchewan offense.
Well, you know, Gord, a lot of criticism has gone towards these quarterbacks here in Saskatchewan throughout this football season, but that was just the design of the offense. I mean, Jimmy Kemp had one choice on that play. That was the backside to Don Narcisse, and he was triple covered, but the play didn't give him other options. And imagination in this offense has been a problem for Saskatchewan.
Brent managed to kick it away. Good high kick into the wind. Ted Alford catches it at the 25-yard line, and Alford collared very quickly. Flags are down, so is Alford, as he got smoked quickly on the play. Brooks Finley got down there and made the stop. And now the question is, what is the flag all about? Brooks Finley hustled down quickly, and it appears an illegal block will be called against BC.
holding, BC 11.
Maurice Kelly is called for holding, but this is what Brooks Finley does for fun.
Well, Brooks Finley working on Mark Pimiskern, and he's one of those backup defensive linemen, backup linebacker kind of guys, leads the Saskatchewan Roughriders in special teams tackles, and that's why he hustles down and makes it there.
Pads his total there. So Joe Paopao, who's had to regroup this football team, will see the Lions backed up to their own 15-yard line to work into the wind. 10:45 to play in the opening quarter. Saskatchewan leads it by a score of 3-0. And Joe, having played here in Saskatchewan, knows very well what the wind can do to an offense. On first down, the kid goes off is corralled very quickly. The stop is made by middle linebacker Greg Battle, one of the many veterans on this Saskatchewan defense.
Well, Greg Battle was released from the Montreal Alouettes early in the season and kind of sat around for a couple of games. Saskatchewan very happy to get him back, and that's a front seven that right now is ranked second in the league versus the run. They only give up 86.4 yards a game. There's the secondary led by Vincent Donaldson on the corner, who's got 11 knockdowns. That leads the team. Dave Van Bellingham is the safety.
Second down after the gain of 2. Damon Allen over the middle looking for Alford. Makes the catch. No, he does not. One official said yes, but the other comes in to say no, and Alford is furious.
Well, I don't like the way Alford's grabbing that chin strap.
This is what happened to BC last week with Mike Trevathan. And a change was made to the officiating staff this week. Glenn Johnson, the official who got into it last week with Mike Trevathan, was lifted from the crew, and Alford jumps over, makes the catch. Now the official to the right said it's a catch. The official on the left said no.
They're talking about it right now, and
that's a catch.
Well, you know what? His arms were underneath the football. His arms hit the turf, and that's what caused that football to bounce up a little bit. That's why I think the official may have thought it was the ball that hit the ground. But that was a catch.
Art McAvoy's down there along with Dennis Zwarich, and I believe they're going to call this a catch.
Well, this is something I have never seen.
Wow, a 28-yard gain, and maybe Ted Alford's protests were effective. That may be the first time I've ever seen a player argue with the official and win.
I was going to say, this may be starting a trend. I mean, here's another look at it. I mean, he cuts the ball in the hands. It bounces up right there, but both arms are underneath the football, so it was the arms that hit the turf, not the ball.
Trevathan say, why couldn't I get that call last week? Quick throw, they hitch it up to Larry Thompson. Thompson, the former Saskatchewan Roughrider, has a pickup of about 3 as he gets up to the 48-yard line, and now some pushing and shoving breaks out between these two teams, and Thompson kind of laughing with his former teammates.
Well, Larry Thompson used to be a roommate of Vincent Donaldson, number 24 on the corner, and Tyrell Ulmer, so you know they're going to have the battle all game, and when Larry Thompson puts that straight arm up in Vincent's face, Vincent Donaldson wants to pay him back with a little elbow in the back after that.
Wide receivers for the BC Lions this year have just 3 touchdown catches. The inside receivers have 13. From the shotgun on second down, Damon Allen setting it up quickly, throws incomplete, looking there for Corey Philpott on the screen pass. And so Allen and the offense will have to leave the field. As a defensive player, were you aware of what offenses did differently with the wind against them?
Well, yeah, I mean, you play completely differently on defense. When the offense has the wind at its back, you give the receivers a little more room. You know they're going to start to think about going down the field with the football, so you back off and play a little bit softer coverage. When they have the wind in their face offensively, that's when you send the house, knowing that it's tough to throw that ball down the field.
Shagley's last kick traveled 27 yards. Rod Harris and Aaron Ruffin back deep to receive have 3 punt return touchdowns between them this year. Knocking down that kick to Ruffin at the 40-yard line. Flags are down. And Ruffin gets out to the 46-yard line. That ball hit a brick wall. A 23-yard kick by Fasaglia. And I don't know if he can hit it much better. We'll sort out the flags when we come back. Saskatchewan has the lead and the ball at Taylor Field.
Rough roads, sharp curves. To keep a firm grip on roads like this depends upon your shock absorbers. Look, with a worn-out shock absorber, the wheel leaves the road. But with a new Monroe Sensitrack shock absorber, your tire holds the road. With Monroe Sensitrack, even the most demanding road feels safer. Monroe Sensitrack, making the road a safer place. Have your shocks checked every 20,000 kilometers just to be safe.
Valvoline's family of products protect your car in tough Canadian conditions. Valvoline Motor Oil, the right oil for your car. Pyroil chemicals enhance and protect your vehicle's performance. Xerox brand antifreeze prevents corrosion under extreme operating conditions. TM8 synthetic engine treatment performs to reduce wear on vital engine parts. Do it right. Valvoline, more than just oil. Enter for a chance to win a go-kart at Canadian Tire stores coast to coast. See stores for details.
Uniroyal knows tires aren't always the first thing on your mind until you find that pothole out there with your name on it. Trust Uniroyal tires with DuraShield construction built for puncture resistance, long thread life, and durability. Uniroyal can take the worst the road can dish out and still keep you going. Uniroyal tires. Driving dependability home.
Jimmy Kemp gets his third chance to run this Saskatchewan offense, offsetting penalties, by the way, on that last play. Jimmy Kemp's dad, Jack, is the Republican vice presidential nominee. I was interested in hearing him tell you, Glenn, that when they talk politics, the conversation gets pretty heated.
Maybe Jimmy votes the other way.
Ooh, boy, that would be tough. Early movement flags all over the field as they give it off to Robert Mims. And Mims, the leading rusher, gets up to about the 49-yard line for a pickup of 7. Dave Chaters came up and made the stop, and I'm sure offside against BC will be declined if that's the call. Maybe Jimmy believes in a flat tax. That's the problem.
Yeah, he said we talk about football all the time, but when it gets to politics, we just end it. Gets too heated.
BC number 3.
And they will take the penalty. It'll be 1st and 5 from the 47-yard line.
Well, it doesn't matter what down you have for BC Lions defense. They're going to blitz you. You see to the left of your screen, left corner, Kelly Sims gets coming on the halfback blitz, just jumps a little early. DBs only blitz 3 or 4 times a game, so they get pretty pumped up when they get a chance to.
1st and 5. Here comes Mims again. And Mims is wrapped up quickly by Henry Newby. Fights his way across the 50, close to a Saskatchewan first down.
94, Henry Newby.
You know, get back into that when we talked about the wind being a factor in the football game. Offensively, a lot of times if you don't have points when you have the wind at your back, it gets really frustrating. I'm a little surprised that the Saskatchewan Roughriders right now are running the ball so much when they have the wind at their back. They throw the ball, it keeps the clock, it stops the clock, they get some more points on the board with the win.
Robert Mims will try the outside on 2nd and short. He's got it easily. Flags come down as Mims gets around the corner down to the BC 50-yard line, but holding may bring this back. The pickup is 10 yards for Mims.
Well, it's a pretty good job at the point of attack by that Saskatchewan offensive line. John Terry and Scott Hendrickson on that left side.
But holding is the call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Maybe they were just a little too good on that side.
Bud Steen with the call.
Holding, Saskatchewan number 80, after yards had been gained. 1st and 10.
Don Narcisse, the wide receiver, is called for holding.
Yeah, he was downfield stock blocking, it's called, and you see him working right there on Brandon Hamilton.
But it came, this is unusual, it comes after the first down, so Saskatchewan gets its first down, but loses 10 yards.
It's been that kind of year for this green and white. Okay.
Kemp, quick drop, and has the pass to Curtis Mayfield. Reggie Carthon grabs the face mask, and you can add yards onto this. I think everyone in the stadium saw that. And Curtis Mayfield has the catch. He has only 1 catch in each of his last 2 games. So Saskatchewan quickly trying to get Mayfield involved.
Face mask, BC 13.
They called Tom Europe. I'm not so sure it wasn't right there. And Reggie Carthon, the officials made a mistake on the number. But Curtis Mayfield, even though he's had a couple of slow games of late, is the #1 receiver for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And you're right, Gord, they need to get him the football. I mean, he's had 3 100-yard receiving games and close to 900 yards this season. He has to have the ball in his hands for them to have success.
Penalty takes Saskatchewan down to the BC 38-yard line. Kemp, quick sidearm throw, looking there for Don Narcisse. The pass is knocked away by the aforementioned Brandon Hamilton. We talked about him last week. Scooped up the football on that kick out by Corey Philpott on the final play of the game. Cost his team the football game.
Yeah, and Joe Paopao said after that football game, he said, you know, it was too bad it was Brandon Hamilton because he had a super game. He had an interception in that game and really played well. And then to have him have that penalty at the end was just too bad. But he did a nice job of covering Don Narcisse there.
On 2nd down, here comes the blitz. Kemp gets it away and completes it. What a catch by Ron Harris.
Ron Harris, number 88.
He's short of the first down, but Harris takes the hit and makes the catch from Kemp.
You know, a lot of the Saskatchewan fans have talked about this receiving core with Curtis Mayfield, Dan Farthing, Ron Harris, and, of course, Don Narcisse being one of the best in the league. And if they just have a quarterback that can get them the football, they're going to have a great offense. And Ron Harris does the one-hand stab there. What a catch by the former Shreveport Pirate.
And San Antonio Texan, or Sacramento gold miner, wherever they were when he was there. Frank Jagus will try the field goal from 42 after hitting from 54 earlier. Kemp gets the ball down, barely, but Jagus misses it to the right, and Corey Philpott will bring it out. Philpott gets out to the 9-yard line. So they had trouble handling the snap on that field goal try. Jagus misses it to the right, but Philpott bringing it out leaves BC stuck at the 9 with 5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. So Damon Allen in a deep hole facing a stiff wind.
Yeah, and you know, this is a lot of times, this is where the offense coordinator, was Joe Paupow for the BC Lions. Here comes the hold from Jimmy Kemp. You see, he juggles it a little bit. Now, Frank Jagus is going to get blamed for missing this field goal, but whenever the timing is off, whether it be a bad snap or a juggled hold from Jimmy Kemp, it affects the kicker.
Holding on field goals has long been a problem here in Saskatchewan. Go back to the 80s. Some guy named Suter. From the 9, the toss goes to Corey Philpott. And Philpott gets strung to the outside. The Saskatchewan defense very tough against the run. Dan Rashovich comes up to make the stop along with linebacker Tommy Smith.
Well, Tommy Smith, Greg Battle, and Dan Rasovich, the 3 linebackers in the middle. Of course, you got Battle and Raz with the good experience in this league. But watch the quickness from the 10-year veteran in Greg Battle to fill that hole and run down the running back.
Now from the 10-yard line, Allen to throw. Here comes the rush. Allen stands in and gets it to Ted Alford. And every catch that Alford makes seems to be in question. This time, though, no doubt about it, up to the 23-yard line for a BC first down. The pickup is 13 yards.
Well, the last time that Ted Alford faced the Saskatchewan defense, he was held to just 1 catch for 30 yards. So you know he wants to make amends this time, and he's made a couple of big catches in the game. Caught that post pattern early, and then he lays out to pick up that one on the sideline. And I'm not so sure Vincent Donaldson didn't touch him. He jumped over him.
Yeah, he could have got up.
He could have got up and kept running.
Big first down for the BC Lions. And they give it off to Millington. Sean Millington out across the 25-yard line for a pickup of a couple. Sean Millington, 3rd in the league with 10 touchdowns. And his presence in the BC lineup is clearly missed. A 2-time CFL All-Star.
Yeah, All-Star in the 94 and 95 season. He'll catch that little hitch screen. He's a good power runner. And when the BC Lions get down to the goal line, or in the green zone, they like to call it, because green means go. Most teams call it the red zone. Number 25 gets the football.
2nd and 8 Lions. Here comes the blitz. Allen gets it away and gets it to Ted Alford, who has another first down as he gets out to the 36-yard line. And Damon Allen took a shot at the end of that play, and he is hurt.
Well, Tommy Smith, number 99, came on the blitz, and he hurdled Corey Philpott in the middle of the pile. And I think you're going to see the catch coming across the middle from Ted Alford. But I think it was Tommy Smith's foot that hit Damon Allen, because he hurdled Corey Philpott, who was trying to cut block him. Watch number 6 hit right in the knee there. Now over comes Tommy Smith, and that leg whips right into Damon Allen's knee.
And Damon Allen is still down on the turf after Tommy Smith, as you said, accidentally, we should say, leg whips him on the left knee.
Well, it was a great job of Corey Philpott picking up Tommy Smith on the block, but that leg came flying around, and that's why Damon Allen's on the ground now.
Damon Allen was lifted from last week's game against the Edmonton Eskimos. His backup, Chris Vargas, had an outstanding game, threw 3 touchdown passes in that game to get the BC Lions back in it. In fact, got them the lead in the 4th quarter. But right now, the concern is about Damon Allen, his teammate, who remains down on the turf. 3:25 to play in the first quarter. Back to Regina right after this.
That's all it takes. Hey, look who just turned up. Wait till you see this. Turn out the cup and you can instantly win. Or collect to win spectacular prizes in the Just One Taste of Great Adventures contest. Like Kenwood Hitachi Home Theater Systems. Or you could turn out such a package. events. More than 1 million prizes, including the ultimate adventure package of a Polaris Snow Audio PWC and ATV. So turn up the country style and turn up the winner! Wings the country style.
Looking for a work boot as tough as you. Okay, maybe tougher. Terra militaries. Can't guarantee you'll outlive them.
Welcome back to Taylor Field as Damon Allen makes his way off the field. Chris Vargas comes on. Vargas had a solid game last week with 3 touchdown passes, just 1 interception. But Damon Allen's bad luck continues at Taylor Field. He's lost 8 of his last 9 games here with 4 different teams.
Well, the good news for BC Lions fans that Damon Allen put weight on that knee when he walked off. He didn't have the trainers kind of helping him off, so hopefully for the BC Lions, Damon Allen will be able to return. But you did mention that Chris Vargas had a great game, and it was nice to see for BC fans because Vargas struggled early. Here's another look at how Damon Allen got hurt. Tommy Smith on the blitz, and here comes that right leg.
Ouch.
Right into the left knee of Damon Allen.
One thing about Allen, for the number of hits he's taken in his career, he's been relatively injury-free. So Chris Vargas comes in. Sorry, Glenn, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Vargas fakes the toss, stands in, throws deep for Trevathan. It is almost intercepted by Terrell Ulmer. And Ulmer throws it right back. In fact, with the wind, he put that in the end zone. That's a pretty good throw.
Yeah, he better be careful he doesn't get a penalty for delay of game.
2nd and 10.
Now that's what they do, the Saskatchewan Roughriders secondary. You see the double team. Safety Dave Van Bellingham comes over to help on Mike Trevathan. Tyrell Ulmer should have come up with the interception, but in practice, this secondary, when the team throws the ball on them that's knocked down, they pick it up and throw it right back.
Oh, is that right?
Don't bring that ball over here.
That was a good throw. That was about 60 yards in the air. 2nd down. Here comes the rush. Vargas gets it away. Wide side out to Larry Thompson. And Thompson gets hit late and is in the tunnel. He's up to the 52-yard line. Larry Thompson is in the tunnel that leads to the BC dressing room. It's a 16-yard gain.
Well, Nick Ferguson, who's replaced Bryce Bevel on the corner. Bryce Bevel injured, is the one who's covering Thompson on the play. Saskatchewan's playing a 3-deep zone. That's where the read will take you, to the wide side out. Larry Thompson makes a catch. I don't know that that was a late hit by Nick Ferguson. Thompson had his foot in bounds, but it was hard enough to send him to the tunnel.
Larry Thompson with the big catch for a 1st down, and Chris Vargas' first completion. On the fake, Vargas looking for Matt Clark. He makes the catch to the Saskatchewan 40-yard line. Matt Clark, with his first catch of the game, has another BC 1st down. A pickup of 18 yards.
Well, you know, when you get the one-on-ones, it's all about positioning of the receiver, the position that he can get. Now, see Tyrell Ulmer play the inside on Matt Clark. You see a very nice swim move. That's where you hit the right hand, swim the left hand over, and Matt Clark does a good job of turning his body backwards. Chris Vargas gets hit as he throws that football. Troy Alexander letting him know that he's there.
First down, the give goes to Corey Philpott, and Philpott slides across the 40-yard line down to the 38. A pickup of 2 yards. Talked to Corey before the game. I said, are you going to get a rushing touchdown? He says, I got to. He scored 22 touchdowns last year. This year, he has 1.
Well, we've talked about it before. I mean, last week we did the BC Lions game as well, but Corey Philpott is not the guy who gets the ball anymore when they're down inside the 5-yard line. That job is now in the hands of Sean Millington. So that's the reason Philpott hasn't got a lot of touchdowns.
Philpott's only touchdown this year was on a reception. Quick drop by Vargas, and looking over the middle for Matt Clark, it falls incomplete. This drive, which began at the BC 9-yard line, stalls up at the Saskatchewan 38-yard line and likely should have continued.
Well, he definitely should have. Not Chris Vargas' fault. That ball right on the money, but hey, a little bit dangerous running across the middle in there, and it makes you think a little bit. Aaron Ruffin providing the coverage, and Meckler just took his eyes off the football at the wrong time. But nevertheless, a good drive for the BC Lions when they're going into this wind, and Sagley's got a long kick here.
Lou Pasaglia is going to try a 46-yard field goal. Now, he's not been punting the ball well into the wind.
Now, what he might try and do is angle this one out of bounds. And that's exactly what he's doing.
And he does it. Out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
You can be more accurate with the field goal team in there, and a lot of teams are doing that now. Into the wind, you send in your field goal unit. Not very good for your kicker's average, but he goes in there and angles it to the corner, and you can see Louis Pasaglia putting it out right on the 2-yard line. A lot easier to do than a punt.
Wally Buono did that in a game that Calgary played a couple of years ago when his punter, Tony Martino, got hurt. He had Mark McLaughlin place kick the ball out of bounds as a punter, and it worked very well. Not great for the field goal kicker's average, though.
Exactly. We did that one time in Saskatchewan with Dave Ridgway. Did that, and then in the paper the next day, they said Dave Ridgway missed a field goal so bad it hit Albert Street. They didn't know it was a planned play.
Pass goes quickly to Rod Harris, and Harris has a huge first down for Saskatchewan as he gets out to the 16-yard line. Now, big because the clock winding down. This should be the final play of the first quarter. Had he not made that catch, Saskatchewan would be going into the wind to start the second deep in its own territory.
Yeah, they'd have to punt. You see Rod Harris catches it in between the zone defense. That's the second big catch of the game for Rod Harris.
This should be the final play of the opening quarter. Saskatchewan with a 3-0 lead will soon have to work into the wind. On first down, the carry goes to Robert Mims, and Mims is wrapped up very quickly. Henry Newby got in there for the BC Lions, and the gain, if anything, is 1. No flags on the play, so after 15 minutes of football at Taylor Field, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have a 3-0 lead on the BC Lions.
CFL Live at the Quarter, brought to you by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Welcome back to our CFL Control Studio, and gentlemen, I guess we should not be surprised that it's only 3-0 after the first quarter when you consider these two offenses that both struggle. Leif Pettersson?
Well, they've struggled, but you know what I find surprising, with my partners here? Weeks ago when Damon Allen came to EC, Mr. York, Mr. Abilovich said they conceded everything but the MVP award and a playoff position for the BC Lions. Now, isn't it funny how things have changed a few weeks later? Damon Allen hurt in the first quarter. My partners say, isn't that lucky? Chris Vargas could come in. Maybe they can win this game now.
Hey,
funny how things change.
First of all, that's a misquote. But second of all, nobody said isn't it lucky.
I think it's funny.
But second of all, I don't have a football player's mentality. I do not have to be loyal to Damon Allen. I simply call it like it is, as Darren would. One week, Damon Allen may play well. The next week, Damon Allen plays poorly. We just say so. Right, Bob?
There's no question about it that Damon Allen made the BC Lions a better football team when they had to become better when he was acquired. And the fact is they've got two good quarterbacks. I think Vargas is a good young guy to go with the veteran. And last week, he played well enough that they could have won the football game. And he's playing well right now, but Damon was having a good game. He got an unfortunate injury, and sometimes those are things that make decisions for coaches.
Coach, I now know why the Americans won the Canada Cup. You guys have finally learned how to stick handle. That was pretty good.
It was the World Cup.
Well, whatever.
It was the World Cup. But what about Jimmy Kemp? You know what? I think the most telling stat for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they've had 5 quarterbacks this year, Kemp being the 5th. Collectively, they've only thrown 8 touchdown passes. 8, that's it, all season. That's like 0.5 a game. Where's the offense with Saskatchewan? We know it's Mims, but come on.
It is only Mims. That's it.
Well, the problem is definitely just quarterbacking. I mean, they've got tremendous receivers. They got the running game. They got personnel on defense. They haven't been able to get a guy that can play consistently at quarterback.
Okay, on those final words, we'll wrap it up here. We'll see you at the half as we return to Taylor Field.
Darren, thank you. Saskatchewan faces the ball second and long. Early movement, flags are down, and it looks as though the BC Lions will give the Saskatchewan Roughriders second and shorter than 9 yards.
Yeah, the Lions definitely jumped, but whether or not Kemp drawed him offside, You can't bob that head too much or else it's deliberately trying to draw the defense offside.
BC, the most penalized team in the Canadian Football League entering this week of play. Rod Harris seems pretty sure it's against the BC Lions, but the BC Lions are saying it's against Saskatchewan.
Legal procedure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan.
They don't say who, but I think you might be right. You put about Jimmy Kemp on the head bob.
Yeah, I think it was Jimmy Kemp. Now, you can stagger your count, but watch Jimmy Kemp's head. Right there, he gives that little head bob, and that's what draws the BC defense, and you can't deliberately try and draw the defense offside with movement.
Wow, it'll be second and longer. Now 2nd and 14, and Saskatchewan working into the teeth of a wind has kicked up for the last few minutes.
I would say we see a blitz here from the defense.
Here it comes. 9. Kemp gets it away, almost intercepted as jumping over to knock that pass down was Kelly Sims. The BC Lions brought 9 players on the blitz.
They didn't disguise it. They basically could have gone to the Saskatchewan huddle and said, here's what we're doing. Try and stop it. You see everyone in that BC defense, all 9 in the box, are up on that line of scrimmage. It's one-on-one coverage downfield, and Kemp just doesn't have a shot to get it down there.
And so now Brent Matic will be forced to punt from his end zone into the wind. And a guarantee that BC will have outstanding field position for its first offensive possession of the second quarter.
Now this is where Brent Matic should probably give up the safety. I mean, you give up 2 now or give up 3 for sure.
And you called it. Brent Matic will just head for the back line and surrender a safety. And almost surrendered his life to Maurice Kelly, who was bearing down on him. So Saskatchewan gives up 2 and leads by 1.
Yeah, that's a good call by Jim Daly. I mean, 2 points isn't a big deal right now. With that field position, BC would have got the ball on the Saskatchewan side of the 50-yard line, 55-yard line, and definitely would have been in field goal range and 1 first down. So now Joe Paupau has the option of taking the ball or getting the ball kicked to them.
Yeah, you have 2 choices here. You can take the ball at your 35, or you can force the other team to kick off. And I believe they'll force Saskatchewan to kick off into that win. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's a good call by Jim Daly to give up the 2 points. And now, this is where teams, when you're into that win, like the sky ball kickoff. Kick it up high and see if your own guys can recover it.
Ah. Well, you know all this strategy stuff. You were on special teams.
I was on all the special teams. That's right.
You've probably been to more special teams meeting than any retired player around.
Which is why that BC thing last week was such a shock. That's something that everyone practices.
Frank Jagus will kick it off. Corey Philpott's back deep. And this is Philpott from the 30-yard line. Here he comes. And he's tripped up from behind, lost the football, but they'll rule him down. Darren Joseph got a piece of Corey Philpott and was able to drag him down at the 52-yard line. It's a 31-yard return by Philpott.
You know, sometimes it's not just all-out speed. You see that little hesitation right there by Philpott, and then he hits the hole. What that does is allow his kick return team to set up the blocks. Then he can hit the seam. Philpott has great speed once he gets in the open field, and that, if Nick Ferguson is not right there, that's a touchdown.
Vargas remains in a quarterback. We're told Damon Allen is series to series. Great field position for the Lions. And here comes Philpott. Up the middle, he gets to the 45-yard line. 3-2, Saskatchewan leads as we take a look at the numbers from the opening 15 minutes, brought to you by new Mono Ultra Sealant. And in first downs, not much to choose between the two. Saskatchewan had just 42 net yards with the win. But look at the BC Lions. They held the ball for 9 minutes in the opening quarter, keeping the ball away from Saskatchewan. When BC has more time in possession, they've won every game. Now Saskatchewan chose to give up the safety to play for field position, but face bad field position anyway. Philpott on second down, burst through the line. Philpott again, close to the 30-yard line. Finally dragged down to the 31. Dave Van Bellingham makes the stop. And the BC Lions, with Philpott's return and 2 carries, are knocking on the door.
Well, you talked about the last time these two teams played, that Ted Alford was shut out. Well, Corey Philpott didn't have a good game either. He was held to just 48 yards along the ground when the Saskatchewan Roughriders played BC last time. So, you know, Philpott wants to make amends today.
A gain of 13 yards. Philpott again tries the middle. Philpott lost the football. The ball came loose, and the BC Lions have given up the football. Saskatchewan gets it back, and Troy Alexander has scooped up the ball for Saskatchewan, the first turnover of the game.
Wow, Saskatchewan third in the CFL in takeaways. They're a very aggressive defense. They go after the football, and they're great against the run. And Tommy Smith, number 99, plugs the hole with the help of LeBrian Robinson. And I think Bobby Jurison may have also got his hand in there to rip that football out. Nevertheless, it's a Saskatchewan turnover, and huge for Jim Daly.
While the Saskatchewan Roughriders are third in the league in the takeaway category, only Calgary and Montreal have more. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders force a huge turnover. First down, this is Mims. And Mims slides out to the 35-yard line. A pickup of 3.
Take another look at the fumble recovery. Corey Philpott just getting a basic dive play. Tommy Smith is 99. You see Bobby Jurison from the right of the screen. He slides across and punches that ball out. I think
the ball was loose before Jurison got there.
I was going to say, I don't think Philpott really had a good handle on it, and then Bobby just helped it out.
On second down, they set up the quick receiver screen, and Don Narcisse has the catch. The first down, and then some. Narcisse gets up to the 52-yard line before Kelly Sims finally throws him out of bounds. A big catch for 2 reasons for Don Narcisse. His consecutive game pass-catching streak is now at 161. That's the record. And he's tied Rocky DiPietro for second on the all-time list with his 706th reception. A 22-yard gain for Don Narcisse, and the 10-year veteran, one of the most unheralded great players in the league, marches on.
I was going to say, the one word to describe this guy, underrated. I mean, this guy has had a tremendous football career, always reliable, always there, 7 consecutive 1,000-yard plus receiving seasons, and people don't consider him one of the best in the league. It's amazing. This guy is future Hall of Famer.
7 straight 1,000-yard seasons is the record. And the man who threw him out of bounds, Kelly Sims, is injured. 161 consecutive games catching a pass for a man who has not missed a game in 9 years.
Well, that's what's so amazing about that stat is, I mean, here's a receiver who's getting hit every time he catches a football that hasn't missed a game. He hasn't had a cold or anything. No injuries, nothing. I mean, he's been out for every game, and in every game caught that ball.
I had dinner once with Don Narcisse 2 years ago.
It must have been at McDonald's.
I tell you what, the restaurant, no, it was a restaurant in Sacramento, and his consecutive game streak is even more amazing because the dinner we ate almost put me in the hospital. I have never heard of a lot of the stuff that we ate that night.
Did you pay?
Are you kidding? Of course I paid. Don's got deep pockets and very short arms.
Yeah, that's right.
First down from the 52-yard line. Kip, quick drop, looking for Boyko, and the big fullback makes a catch. Brought down there by Maurice Kelly, who replaces Kelly Sims. But Bruce Boyko, with just his 17th catch of the year from the fullback position, has a gain of 14.
Well, I've criticized the offensive imagination for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and lack of it. But this is a great formation because both backs are out to the left side of the formation, and the linebackers for the BC Lions don't pick him up. That's fullback Bruce Boyko and Robert Mims. Now, the linebackers are responsible for covering, and that's obviously something they haven't seen in Saskatchewan.
From the 43-yard line, Mims on first down. Robert Mims inside the 30. Mims gets down to the 22-yard line before he's finally brought down to the play by Virgil Robertson to pick up his 22 yards.
Yeah, I remember Robert Mims when he was back with Winnipeg in a couple of all-CFL seasons when he led the league, had over 1,300 yards in 90, and back in 91 had over 1,700. He's got very strong legs. He's tough to bring down if you hit him low because of the power in those legs. And boy, if you hit him high, you pay for it. And it takes 3 BC Lions to get him on the ground.
And he wears number 27 for Saskatchewan. Always a great number, wasn't it? Yeah, they didn't retire your number here, huh?
Nah, they handed it out immediately.
Jimmy Kemp with a quick throw, bounces up in the air, almost intercepted. Virgil Robertson had a chance at it as the ball hung up in the air, but it falls incomplete. A lucky break for Saskatchewan.
Well, Saskatchewan picked up 22 yards on the identical play to Don Narcisse early in this drive, so why not go back after it? But that ball was deflected at the line and very nearly picked off. Looked like Tom Europe and Virgil Robertson got their hands on it.
No points have yet been scored into the win. It's a 3-2 Saskatchewan game. Here comes the blitz. Kemp has time, goes to the end zone. Mayfield, touchdown! Curtis Mayfield has his 5th touchdown catch of the year.
Curtis Mayfield took advantage of Reggie Carthon's coverage. You see 28 to the top of your screen. He stops his feet. He's in his own defense, but stops his feet moving, and Curtis Mayfield, with the tremendous speed, gets in behind him on the post pattern, takes advantage of it.
Curtis Mayfield with a touchdown catch. The first points of the game scored into the wind are from the first touchdown. And Frank Jagus now for the point after. Jagus puts it through, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have a 10-2 lead on the BC Lions, and finally something for Saskatchewan to smile about, and a happy quarterback and receiver on the sideline.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. If your name appears below, you may have won a TriStar packing case by Skyway Luggage with practical features and modern-day innovations for today's experienced traveler. Skyway Luggage, quality and durability for over 85 years. Or Minolta Compact Zoom Binoculars, a convenient zoom lever lets you locate a subject at low power, then examine it in detail. Minolta high performance at an economical price. Touchdown to Win ballots, available exclusively at all participating Safeway stores.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. There's a prize for every touchdown and interception during TSN telecasts. Prizes like a Daewoo 27-inch stereo TV, a Uniden cordless phone and answering system, a Dirt Devil Ultra handbag and cordless broom bag, or a packing case from Skyway Luggage. Or win a trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway feature products: Heinz Ketchup, ABC Laundry Detergent. Touchdown to Win at Safeway, today's better way.
Curtis Mayfield, one of 3 Saskatchewan receivers born in Dallas, Texas. Fights off a chilly day in Regina and has his 5th touchdown catch of the year.
And you'll find his name in the CFL record book under yards receiving in a single game. He's 2nd. He had a 319-yard gain.
High kick, and it is fielded up at the 43-yard line, taken by fullback Paul Blackwood. And Blackwood forced out of bounds at the 45. Let's have another look at the touchdown, Glenn.
Yeah, here's Reggie Carthon right here. He's the victim on the play. He's trying to roll to the deep outside zone, and Curtis Mayfield coming from the other side of the field. Now, he doesn't see the receiver, but you see his feet stop moving. When your feet stop moving as a defensive back, it's trouble. Mayfield takes advantage of it.
6 plays, 83 yards into the wind, and Saskatchewan now has a 10-2 lead on BC. So Jimmy Kemp can smile. He's got to vote one of these days, huh? You have to get his vote cast down there. Dad'd be mad it didn't vote.
Yeah, you know Dad will remind him of voting and who to vote for.
First down, Vargas. Look out! Dan Rasevich sacks him at the 37-yard line. That was a train wreck.
Todd Furtick went down, blocked down, and Dan Rasevich came off the corner. He has 5 sacks on the season. Dan Rasevich lines up low on this play. He's usually back a little bit, but he lines up right here, comes right off the corner. The BC offensive line does not pick him up. And I would suggest that you got to block the veteran Dan Rasevich if you want to have success offensively.
6th sack of the year for him. Forces Vargas back to the shotgun on 2nd down. Here they come again. Vargas stands in, looks downfield. Alford makes the catch.
Boy, I tell you,
down to the Saskatchewan 38-yard line. What a grab by Ted Alford.
That was great catch. Excellent football play by Ted Alford. He was going full speed down that sideline, had to put the brakes on and come back. You see, Chris Vargas, LeBryant Robinson bearing down on him, and he doesn't get enough on the football, so it's thrown slightly behind Ted Alford, but he does a great job of making the adjustment as Vargas gets smoked by LeBryant Robinson on the play.
A 34-yard gain. Now Vargas looking to the end zone. Trevathan makes the catch. Touchdown. Unbelievable. 2 Saskatchewan defensive backs all over him, and consecutive gains of 34 and then 38 yards gets the BC Lions into the end zone.
Well, Saskatchewan is arguing the call. They don't think that Trevathan had control of the football when he landed on the strike. Here comes the ball. Now, he made the adjustment on the corner pattern, turned it upfield. Now, he's got the ball there, but does he have control when he hits the ground?
And did he land out of bounds? What was the first part of him to hit? His rear end on the sideline. Wow.
Well, it's awfully close. And
Mike Trevathan, in the midst of controversy last week, if you weren't with us off the top of the show, it was Trevathan who was accused of throwing his chin strap at an official. He was kicked out of the game. The CFL decided this week he did not intend to do it. Trevathan in the game has the touchdown and has the BC Lions back in it. The CFL Live returns to Taylor Field right after this.
Oh, hi. It's Midas days, and that's why we can't afford a color commercial. But what we've saved, we're passing on to you. Until October 26, Midas will give you a lube, oil, and filter, top up fluids, test antifreeze, rotate your tires, set the pressure, and check lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. And they'll even inspect your brakes for free. See? It's right here in black and white. Midas, the way it should be. Oh, yeah. Offer ends October 26th.
At Maple Leaf, when we reduce the fat in our new lean and light wieners and bologna, we tested the taste with families just like yours. We found we could reduce the fat by 60%, and lean and light would still have that mouth-watering Maple Leaf taste. Any less fat? Well then, we'd appeal to only some members of the family. The uncompromised great taste of new Maple Leaf Lean and Light. Taste that's a cut above.
Valvoline's family of products protect your car in tough Canadian conditions. Valvoline Motor Oil, the right oil for your car. Pyroil chemicals enhance and protect your vehicle's performance. Xerox brand antifreeze prevents corrosion under extreme operating conditions. TM8 synthetic engine treatment performs to reduce wear on vital engine parts. Do it right. Valvoline, more than just oil. Enter for a chance to win a go-kart at Canadian Tire stores coast to coast. See stores for details.
Only Hamilton's Matt Cody has more touchdown catches than Mike Trevathan, but is his 10th catch of the year a touchdown? We'll have a look at it and see for yourself. If any part of him lands out of bounds first, he's out. The first thing to hit is his rear end.
Right there.
And he was juggling the ball.
Yeah, and if you kind of follow that stripe along, I think he was out of bounds.
His nickname is Trap, but after the incident last week where he threw his chin strap, they're calling him Strap this week. Short kick by the Lions, and Trevathan has it! At the 47-yard line, Mike Trevathan, no doubt about that catch, as the Lions run the short kick.
Well, this is the kind of game that you do that. I mean, lots of fakes, throw out all the stops. Why not? You're both out of the playoffs. Let's try some things to get some momentum, and What a timing play by Julio Garavetta and Mike Trevathan. I mean, he caught this on the fly. A perfect onside kick by Trevathan. It looked like he threw it to him.
Wow.
Mike Trevathan lays out. That didn't even hit the ground.
Trevathan remains in with the offense now, as the Lions have it at their own 48-yard line. Some confusion for Saskatchewan in the secondary. All kinds of early movement, and Bobby Jurison just steamrolled Chris Vargas.
Well, there'll be no penalty there. That whistle blew just as Bobby Jurison was hitting Vargas to the turf, so...
I'll tell you what, it looked like a bad fire drill the way Saskatchewan was running around in the defensive backfield.
Well, Dave Van Bellingham will make all the checks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they do check a lot on that defense. When they get different formations offensively, they actually audible to new defenses.
And there's a reason they were running around. Too many men is the call against Saskatchewan.
Well, that's a good way to stop an offense.
Offside, Saskatchewan, 91 is declined. Legal substitution, Saskatchewan.
Illegal substitution is the call.
Let's get consistent, why don't we?
That's Bill Dole.
Yeah, Bill Dole wants some consistency. And he's going to go over and continue that conversation with the side judge, Heinz Brademan. He taught me in high school. That's how I know his name.
I was going to go, wow, way to go. Didn't even check the sheet there.
Woody, they call him. He looks like Woody Allen. And Woody Hayes, I guess. From the Saskatchewan 52-yard line, Vargas slings that way out there. Larry Thompson makes the catch and goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line. BC down by 1 after an interesting scoring drive in which they covered that distance in 3 plays. Actually, they lost 8 on the first play, so they went a little further than that, but not officially. Mike Trevathan with a 38-yard catch. You got all that, Glenn? They actually went more than 65 yards.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
They went 73.
I'm grinning and nodding anyway.
It's a 65-yard drive that covered 73 yards.
Okay. Take your word for it.
Second and short, Philpott. Oh, man, and he gets steamrolled. Alexander got in there. Timothy Edwards, LeBrant Robinson, Dan Rashovich. The loss is a yard. Now what do you do?
Initial contact, 46, Troy Alexander.
Well, I think you go for it.
It's 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2. You tried, kicked an onside kick to get here. You got some momentum. You got the football. 3rd and 2. Go for it. It's a long field goal, even with the wind.
All right, the 3rd down gamble. Vargas, quick drop, and has it there for Ted Alford, who makes the catch at the 37-yard line. BC wasn't even pretending to run the football, as the backfield was empty.
Well, no, I mean, this is a Saskatchewan defense, 2nd in the league against the run, and just stuffed them on the 2nd down try. So, you know, Lions are coming out passing, nothing but a double out pattern with Trevathan and Ted Alford, and pick up the 1st down.
The gain was 8, 5 catches for Alford. Millington on 1st down. Takes a couple of riders along for the ride and should charge a fare for carrying guys that far. Greg Battle in to help make the stop along with Timothy Edwards. We're told now that Damon Allen will wait until halftime to have his knee reevaluated. So it's Chris Vargas' show for now. The gain was 4.
Well, not to mention the fact that Chris Vargas is doing a pretty nice job. As you look at Damon Allen's numbers before, he was hurt by Tommy Smith. But Chris Vargas has got this offense moving, just scored a touchdown, so why not keep him in?
On 2nd down, Vargas to the wide side. His receiver, Mike Trevathan, slipped, and the pass falls incomplete. By the way, Chris Vargas is down, and Todd Furtick, the right tackle for BC, will miss the rest of the game with an injury. So Gary Zawatsky, the backup, comes in, and the changes on the offensive line could explain why BC quarterbacks are getting smoked.
Yeah, we just talked about Damon Allen waiting until halftime, and we may have to see him forced into action because it looks like Chris Vargas is in pain.
We'll have a look and see how he got hurt.
To look and see who hits him on the play. See Gary Rogers coming in there, and he gets stepped on by Sean Millington.
His own man, Sean Millington, stepped on his ankle. completely by accident. He was blocking Dan Rashovich.
Yeah, Dan Rashovich coming off the corner and stepped back and stepped right on Chris Vargas's leg.
And also, in this game, we can tell you that Maurice Kelly will be in for the rest of the way because Kelly Sims is going to be out, we're told, for the rest of the afternoon as well. And injury starting to take a toll on the BC Lions with 4:01 to play here in the second quarter. The CFL Live returns to Taylor Field right after this.
The reviews are in. Leading industry publications agree that Corel WordPerfect Suite 7, the world's best word processor, is now an unbeatable Office suite.
Corel Suites include better internet features than Office or Smart Suite. Feature for feature, the new Corel Suite outperforms the competitors. Now it's Microsoft's turn to play catch-up.
Shouldn't you use the best?
Corel WordPerfect Suite 7. It's unbeatable.
When you need a sealant that's got to stick, Mono Ultra does the trick. Mono Ultra. When it calls for the best, the choice is clear. Won't be anything like it for years. Mono Ultra. It works in the sun. It works in your shower. You wash up with water and make it an hour. Whatever the kitchen surface, nothing sticks to the job like Mono Ultra. And it's mildew-proof in the bathroom. Mono Ultra. Get the Mono.
That's all it takes. Hey, look who just turned up. Wait till you see this. Turn out the cup and you can instantly win. Or collect to win spectacular prizes in the Just One Taste of Great Adventures contest. Like Kenwood Hitachi Home Theater Systems. Or you could turn out a bathtub package. More than 1 million prizes, including the ultimate adventure package of a Polaris snowmobile, PWC, and ATV. So turn out the country style and turn out the winner. Make the country style.
On the left is Damon Allen, injured earlier in this first half. On the right is Chris Vargas, receiving attention after being injured a moment ago. All of that means that the BC Lions are down to one quarterback left, and they're lucky to have him. There's Vargas, who gets stepped on by Sean Millington. Julio Caravata is in the hole of this field goal try for Lou Pasaglia, and Pasaglia hits the upright. So no points for the BC Lions as Pasaglia hits the goalpost, and his holder, Julio Caravata, may see some action as the BC Lions quarterback in the second half. Caravata played quite a bit last year for BC, tried 49 passes after having only 9 attempts in his previous 5 years. And this looks pretty bad for Chris Vargas, as he was unable to put any weight on it, and it's obviously in severe pain. And you'd speculate that that ankle might be broken.
Yeah, he didn't put any weight on that ankle, so not likely we'll see Chris Vargas back. They want to reevaluate Damon Allen at halftime, so it'll be fine. Julio Caravata.
Yeah, they'll say, Damon, you're fine.
You're fine. Here's an aspirin. Tape it to your leg, and let's go.
Under 4 minutes to play now in the first half. Kemp gives it off to Mims, and Mims finds some room as a first down as he gets out the 37-yard line on what had to be the slowest running play in Canadian Football League history. It took about a minute for it to develop, but it's a pickup of 12.
Well, we talked about that when the Corey Philpott kickoff return, how good running backs don't always just use their speed, and Robert Mims will just take his time, bob and weave his way through this line and just let his blocking develop. You see John Terry out there in front of him, and he picks up a nice block, and that's great running backs will let their blocks set up in front of them.
Well, Robert Mims is one of only 5 players since 1960 who has won the rushing title and the Grey Cup in the same year. Mike Pringle did it last year. Mims did it in 90. But it's very rare for a team to have the rushing champion to win the Grey Cup. And in the National Football League, until Dallas did it with Emmitt Smith, no team had ever had the rushing champion and won the Super Bowl.
Well, you know, with the Canadian Football League, it's such a passing game that... See, Andre Strode is another injured BC Lion on the way to the sideline. You see Curtis Mayfield, and oof, he gets leg whipped by Tyrone Rogers, his teammate.
Wow. Look out, here comes the rush, and Kemp was lucky to emerge from that with his life. Dave Chaters was in his face from the get-go. It looked like their face masks were welded together.
Well, Dave Chaters was unblocked. The BC Lions again showing blitz, not disguising it. And that offensive front five for the Saskatchewan Roughriders have to go across, find the guys Dave Chaters unblocked, and gets right in the backfield.
The 3-minute warning has hit in Saskatchewan with the Riders leading the Lions 10-9. You're watching the CFL Live from Regina.
NEMS is a direct marketer. Things like checks and forms and business cards and labels. You know, being in a small town doesn't hinder our business at all. The majority of our customers use either the Advantage toll-free phone or fax lines.
And really, the 1-800 lines are the lifeline between us and our customers. We've had an increase of about 35%.
If our 1-800 lines went down, we'd be out of business.
Advantage, providing solutions for business.
Play Safeway's touchdown to win. There's a prize for every touchdown and interception during TSN telecast. Prizes like MasterCard Travelers checks from Bank of Montreal, Macassa stoneware in the lifestyle pattern, Minolta compact zoom binoculars, or Timex watches with Indiglo nightlight. Or win a trip for two to Puerto Vallarta courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway feature products, McCain Super Fries. Safeway, select salsas. Touchdown to win at Safeway, today's better way.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you in part by Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. And by Advantage Long Distance Services, providing solutions for business.
Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina. A gorgeous day here. They were predicting snow earlier in the week. It's a little brisk, but all in all, a very nice day. Saskatchewan leads 10-9 with 2.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Jimmy Kemp gives it off to Robert Mims on the draw play, and nothing doing there. Joe Fleming gets in there, along with Henry Newby and Virgil Robertson, and Saskatchewan will be forced to punt into the wind. And we'll see Julio Caravata, and we've seen two Canadian quarterbacks this year. Larry Justanis played earlier this year for Hamilton, and we'll see Julio Caravata, the pride of Simon Fraser University.
Hey, hey, there's another Simon Fraser University grad. We're 3-2, by the way, on the season.
And Brent Mattich to punt. Ted Alford is the only man back, and he's only standing about 30 yards away. Time for that punch 8-iron.
Watch your hands, watch your hands!
Oh, the wind just killed that. And it rolls out of bounds right at midfield. Brent Mattich with a 17-yard punt. Never had a chance. Well, we have a moment. Let's have Darren Detition tell us what's coming up at halftime. Darren?
Thanks very much, Gord. One game played this afternoon between the Ottawa Roughriders and the Montreal Alouettes. We'll have highlights of that contest. We'll also take a look at the Mike Trevathan incident. All that and more coming up at the half.
All right, thanks very much, Darren. So Julio Caravata comes in to quarterback the BC Lions. Last year, through a touchdown pass, had one interception, completed 53% of his passes for BC. And quickly the fake goes to the sidelines, and the pass is incomplete as Ted Alford is once again in the middle of a controversial call at the sidelines, but he is ruled out of bounds.
Yeah, he's definitely out of bounds. Julio Caravata has to get that ball out there quicker in the short side out pattern, and you can see he's clearly out of bounds. A good call by the official. You know, talking about Julio Caravata's taking the hit right there from Tim Edwards after he throws the ball, and all three BC Lions quarterbacks have been pounded as they deliver the football in this game.
On second down, Caravata has time, has Matt Clark, and should have a first down as he gets down to the 43-yard line.
I don't think a Lions quarterback has seen a completion today. Julio Caravata was on his back again and sort of side-armored it. I think LeBron Robinson got the pressure on the stunt 98 right there, and he had no idea that ball was caught.
A 13-yard gain to Matt Clark.
These quarterbacks are taking a pounding, and they're running out of...
On first down, Caravetta under the rush again, sidearms it, and there's no one 30 yards,
You know,
close to that football.
I think Julio Caravetta just had enough of being hit. He saw the pressure coming and didn't care if there was a receiver out there or not. He was throwing it away.
Matt Dunnigan told me one time that what you do is, when you're getting hit like that, you just throw the ball and wait for the crowd. If they don't say anything, it was probably complete.
Bobby Jurison putting the little push on Julio Caravetta, and there's no one over there.
There was nobody in the time zone. Second down. Here comes the blitz. Caravetta throws it to the wide side, and it's incomplete for Larry Thompson. And now the Lions have a decision to make. Do you try a 50-yard Lou Pasaglia field goal, or do you punt with 1:29 to go?
Yeah, well, Lou's coming on with that tee in his hand, so
1:29 to go here in the second quarter.
Welcome back to the CFL Control Studio. We apologize for some of the video problems that we're having at this particular time. Perhaps they didn't pay the power bill in Taylor Field. We're not really sure. We were talking, gentlemen, at the end of the first quarter about the BC Lions and their quarterbacking situation. You know, they got a good young kid, and Chris Vargas, who can come in and fill in for Damon Allen, but now both of them are out, and Julio Caravata's in there, and we'll talk about him at the half. We do have the video back from Taylor Field, so let's return to Gordon Glenn. Gentlemen?
It's a fight.
Now, obviously, we're still having technical difficulties at this point in time, so we'll return to Taylor Field as soon as we get those cleared up. So, gentlemen, let's talk about Julio Caravata. He comes on in relief. I mean, do we really have a choice? I guess we pretty much do have to talk about him. So Caravata comes in there, and it's an unfortunate set of circumstances for the BC Lions because Vargas was moving the ball offensively.
Yeah, first of all, they're lucky they got Julio Caravata. Where would they be then? That means Louis Pasaglia would be playing quarterback.
The best play that Caravata made, though, in that second quarter play had nothing to do with his arm. As we saw in that series, had to do with his foot. There was a beautiful little onside kick, and the next thing you know, Mike Trevathan makes the catch, and BC almost ended up getting a touchdown out of the play.
Well, you know, I think Joe Paupau's had some great coaching decisions in the first half. It's kind of easy for him. It's a game that really doesn't mean a whole lot, so you might as well have some fun. I thought the onside kick was great, and even though they're down to Julio down by the schoolyard Caravata, I mean, who cares? I mean, they're having fun today. Marty, didn't Julio play some quarterback in the World League, though, or was he strictly a kicker over there?
I think he tried out for a little while, but I don't think he played. But you know what? The thing about the BC Lions is they have three quarterbacks. They're the only team in the league that has three quarterbacks, and it's because of Julio's kicking.
You know what? Some would say, though, that the Saskatchewan Roughriders haven't had a quarterback all season long.
Oh, good shot.
Well, truth be told.
Letters go to Darren Detition. Should we spell your name?
Having said, yeah, good luck. You see, they never come to me anyways, right? Nobody can get it right. Having said that, though, Jimmy Kemp, he doesn't look like a bad quarterback. This is the guy that they picked up from the Montreal Alouettes because Saskatchewan thought that they had a keeper here. And you know what? He looks relatively sharp.
I know, guys who play with him love him. They say he has exceptional poise. He's only 23 years old, and he acts a lot older. And I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Of course, he needs a little bit more playing time.
Marty, the best attribute that Jimmy Kemp has is the fact that he is a terrific ball-handling quarterback. Play action is his forte, so he's with the right team. I mean, he's got Robert Mims with 1,000 yards, so defenses are thinking run, and then play action, which Jimmy Kemp does so well, becomes just that much more effective.
Late in the second quarter now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Lions continue to play. Unfortunately, at this present time, we don't have Gordon Glenn. There are 43 seconds left to go in this first half of play. Saskatchewan and Kemp trying to move the ball downfield. 10-9 is your score. The BC Lions bouncing back to make a game of it with this touchdown that they had recorded via Chris Vargas to Mike Trevathan. Leif, by all means, please, you're our studio analyst, and generally when you're on the road, you do a little color for us here. It looks like Saskatchewan.
So this is the formation that I love for Saskatchewan. I believe Bobby Jurison comes in and plays a little fullback here. There he is, number 71, wearing a good number, I might add. He inherited that from one of the finest Saskatchewan Roughriders in the history of the league.
I've never seen that number with such a tough guy before.
Okay, Gordon Glenn will rejoin us
Help
now.
us.
Never a dull moment at Taylor Field, Darren. We lost our electricity for a while. This is a 3rd and 2 gamble by Saskatchewan. Robert Mims should have it as he crossed the 40-yard line. I don't know what it is about the electricity and me, but it's always something, I guess. And we lost the power here at Taylor Field for a bit. The Riders have survived a field goal try by BC. Lupus Aglia missed it. Aaron Ruffin brought it out. And now Saskatchewan narrowly escaped a 3rd and 2 gamble, but picked up a first down with 38 seconds to play here in the first half. Saskatchewan continues to lead the game by a score of 10-9.
I'll tell you, the fans are pretty charged up with the second effort from Robert Mims there. Maurice Kelly had him dead to rights in the backfield, but second effort got his team the first down.
Clock is running, and working into the wind, Saskatchewan will no doubt be content just to run the ball out. Run the clock out, rather, sorry. Robert Mims gets out close to the 50-yard line. A pickup of 8 yards for Mims. Robert Mims leads the CFL in rushing by more than 300 yards. And today has 76 yards rushing.
And I asked Scott Hendrickson about that front 5 offensive line and the relationship they have with Robert Mims, and they said it's a great one. Robert Mims takes them out for lunch all the time, and in fact, he's going to set up a plaque for each one of that offensive line if, in fact, he does win the rushing title. And you can see the front 5 right there. Paul Vida, John Terry, Scott Hendrickson, who is just being helped off the field right now. He's shaken up on that last play. John James and Pete Shorts pick up that offensive line.
As you see the man nicknamed Pooch make his way off the field. 2nd and short for Saskatchewan. The clock running. This should be the final play of the first half.
One word to describe Scott? A wild man. Well, that's 2 words.
Jimmy Kemp is happy to go down to one knee as the first half comes to a conclusion. The BC Lions get a touchdown catch from Mike Trevathan. The question is, will any of their quarterbacks be healthy enough to finish the football game? Damon Allen and Chris Vargas have both been injured. The BC Lions trail at 10-9 after the opening 30 minutes.
CFL Live at the Half. Brought to you by Corel, world leader in CD-ROM technology.
Welcome back to our CFL control studio. They got their electrical problems cleared up in Taylor Field, at least we hope so. Now, last week it was Mike Trevathan creating a number of sparks. He was involved in an extremely controversial play. The BC Lions were taking on the Edmonton Eskimos, and wouldn't you know it, Trevathan got into an incident with Reggie Pleasant on a previous play. Trevathan thought pass interference should have been called. He grabbed his helmet, threw it on the turf. His chin strap fell off at that particular time. So he returns to the huddle, goes in motion, gets set to run his route. On the next play, he's still got his chin strap in his hand. You'll see Reggie Pleasant, number 6. You see Trevathan. You'll also see an official. Now, is Trevathan trying to throw the chin strap at Pleasant, or was he trying to hit the official? Well, a triumvirate got together from the Canadian Football League, the commissioner, Larry Smith, the director of officiating, Ross Perrier, and Ed Shalupka, also from the CFL. They took a look at that video. They said that no suspension or fine for Mike Trevathan was warranted, much to the chagrin, Marty, of the CFL's officials.
Well, that's right, Darren. In fact, the officials submitted a report to Larry Smith and said that there was no doubt in their mind that Trevathan was throwing at Ian Bain, was the umpire's name. Dave Ewell immediately ejected Trevathan because he felt there was objectionable conduct and intent to abuse an official. That was their opinion, and they were hoping to get support from the league. The league obviously didn't give it to him because you see Trevathan in the game today. They're, I'm sure, very upset about it. And there was one official, Bud Steen, who's a very respected referee, who said that he would be very surprised if the league allowed Trevathan to play in this game today.
Marty, you know, I can appreciate the officials being a little sensitive to this in light of the Roberto Alomar, John Hirschbeck incident, but I really think that, you know, how did they know that this was a premeditated move on Mike Trevathan's part? I really want to go back to the video once more because I've had the luxury of watching it about a half a dozen times before we went on the air today, and if we let it run, really be the judge. I mean, Mike Trevathan, we know his character. He's a first-rate guy. He's not a hot-headed player, and he's a terrific athlete. If he wanted to hit the official with the chin strap, I think he could. I think he wants to hit Reggie Pleasant because that's who interfered with him previously, but then all of a sudden he sees, the official got in the way, and he threw it at the ground. If he'd wanted to hit the official, I'll tell you one thing, Mike Trevathan's a good enough athlete that he would have hit him, and even if he thought about it, at the last second he said, I can't do that, and he threw it at the ground. The league, Larry Smith, Ross Perrier, Ed Chalupka, who decided, made a solid decision.
And I think the point is well taken because when he threw the chin strap, he did not hit Ian Bain, and that's why the CFL's collective group got together and said there was no contact made. We're not going to go on intent. That's why Trevathan can, in fact, play today, and he's been involved in a couple of plays, one of which was a touchdown, which was controversial. He appeared to be out of bounds.
Darren, I talked to Larry Smith about the incident, and he said what really matters was the intent. That's what he said. That was before his decision was made. Now, what was the intent? The intent was to throw it at somebody. I mean, you're all agreeing that. Why? The officials? Yeah, but I mean, Bob, a guy takes a piece of equipment and throws it at somebody. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It hit the ground.
But he threw it at someone. In fact, Ian Bain, the umpire, said...
But that's like saying the official's looking down the field and he throws a flag because he thought he was going to do it.
You know what? Listen, Bob, you brought Mike Trevathan into the league. Tell us about his character. I mean, what kind of guy? He's a great guy.
First of all, I'm going to say one thing. You can't condone him losing his poise and getting a penalty that cost them, you know, a ball game in that situation because Matt Clark had a big first down and they were on a drive then. And Mike's just a tremendous competitor. He's a first-class guy. I don't think he'd ever do anything to hurt anyone. He just gets very intense about playing the game, just like
people said that about Roberto Alomar.
We just saw him go after that onside kick, and he showed his intensity and competitiveness going and getting that ball.
That's nothing to do with what he did. I want to say one more thing, Lee. Bob also brought Jeff Cummins into the league, and Jeff Cummins is a defensive end with Ottawa, who today, in his game, was ejected for abuse of an official, physical abuse of an official. And by the way, there was the same referee, Dave Ewell, and believe me, these officials are very upset that the league is not supporting them.
That's a whole different thing. That guy touched the official. Trevathan did nothing, and I applaud the league for not making a decision based on what they saw.
Getting out of hand.
That's it. We're going to give Coach Bob Obilovich the last word. We'll take a short break. You are watching the CFL Live on TSN. Stay tuned. There's still more to come in our Corral halftime show.
Ron Lancaster played 19 seasons in the CFL, 16 in Saskatchewan and 3 in Ottawa. During that time, he set scores of passing records and was an All-Canadian 4 times and the CFL Most Outstanding Player in 1970 and 76. In 19 seasons, Lancaster threw for more than 50,000 yards. You can see more of Ron Lancaster and other CFL legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton.
And here are your QB1 standings today. Remember, with TSN, you're always live and interactive. Now, there was one football game played earlier this afternoon. The Montreal Alouettes, still in 10th and clinching second place in the Eastern Division, were home to the Ottawa Roughriders. Steve Taylor got the start in this football game for Ottawa. David Archer still injured. He was watching from the sidelines, but it would be the Montreal special teams who strike first. On the Wayne Lamley punt, Gary Harrow with the return. He would go 65 yards for the Montreal touchdown. And a little later on, in the second quarter, Ottawa trying to get back into this football game. Taylor connects with Joseph Rogers. He'll go 23 yards for the TD. It's 8-7 for Ottawa. Later in the second, Taylor picked off by AD, Anthony Drawhorn. They'll take the interception all the way back, 70 yards and the touchdown. It's 17-8 for the Alouettes. In the fourth, the Owls add a little more insurance. They cap off a 95-yard drive. Tracy Ham and Michael Souls with the extra effort. Souls gets in 13-yard major. That made it 34-11 for Montreal. The final in the football game was 39-25. Gary Harrell, Anthony Drawhorn, Mike Pringle, and Mike Souls all scored TDs for Montreal. By virtue of that victory, the Alouettes improved to 10-6. Hamilton remains at 8-8. Hamilton has to win both of the remaining games. Montreal would have to lose both of their games. As we take a look at the Eastern standings, and Montreal and Hamilton will go head-to-head next week in what should be a very good football game. The Toronto Argonauts on the road in Alberta in top spot at 12-3. Tomorrow they will take on the Edmonton Eskimos as they continue their tour of Alberta. So far, they're over after losing in Calgary. Should be a good football game tomorrow between the Edmonton Eskimos and the Boatmen. As we take a look at the Western standings, Calgary with a 12-4 record. They boast the best record in the West. The Edmonton Eskimos right behind them at 10-6, followed by Winnipeg, BC, and then, of course, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And we got a pretty good football game in Taylor Field. We'll return to Saskatchewan in a moment or two. Busy day in the world of sports. Let's bring you up to date. Here is Gino Retta with a TSN Sports Break.
This Sports Break is brought to you by Duracell Power Check.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our TSN newsroom. I'm Gino Retta. As you can see by the big board behind me, it is a busy night in the world of sport tonight, but there's one change we do have to make. Game number 1 of the World Series between the Yanks and the Braves has been washed out. Just the third time in Major League Baseball history that the opener of the World Series has been postponed. Heavy rains in the New York area have forced Game 1 to be pushed back to tomorrow night, and that's weather permitting. Rain is also forecast for Sunday. Postponement means the teams will play 5 games in 5 days.
We kind of knew it wasn't going to happen today. I mean, if we came to the park and all of a sudden it started raining, and then we were all ready to play, and then it rained out the last minute, that would be a little bit disappointing. But now, I mean, you had 5 days. Another 2 is not going to hurt us.
I don't think we're going to be stale no matter when we play. I think there's a lot of excitement in this room, and you know, Joe's done a good job of getting us ready, and I don't think there'll be any staleness.
So no baseball, but 6 games in the NHL coming up tonight. We'll set the table for you with some news, views, and previews coming up on SO NHL Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And then I'll be back with Sports Desk right after that at 7:30 Eastern Time. Hey, stay with us. You're watching the CFL Live on TSN.
One name stands for the promise of perfect pastry every time. That name is Tenderflake. Trusted, experienced Tenderflake. Nothing makes it flakier.
Oh, hi. It's Midas days, and that's why we can't afford a color commercial. But what we've saved, we're passing on to you. Until October 26, Midas will give you a lube, oil, and filter, top-up fluids, test antifreeze, rotate your tires, set the pressure, and check lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. And they'll even inspect your brakes for free. See? It's right here in black and white. Midas, the way it should be. Oh, yeah. Offer ends October 26th.
Now next week, it's a TSN triple header. It all starts on Friday with Hamilton and Montreal. We're on the air at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Big game. It's that battle for second place in the East. Then Winnipeg and Ottawa on Saturday. We're on the air at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, or Pacific Time, I should say. And Calgary and Edmonton. It's the Battle of Alberta. Always a good game. We're on the air at Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time with a pregame show. We've got a pretty good game going in Taylor Field as well for their thoughts on what has transpired so far, and hopefully they're there. Let's return to Taylor Field. Here's Gord Miller and Glenn Suter.
Yeah, don't worry, Darren. We put another hamster on the treadmill, so we think we'll have enough electricity here to get us through the second half. Glenn, the question is, I guess, will the BC Lions have a quarterback to get them through the second half of this football game? As you look at the numbers from the first half of this football game, the win is obviously a major factor here today. but just 72 yards rushing for Saskatchewan, 59 for BC, and Saskatchewan has 155 net yards with a 10-9 lead. Saskatchewan, as we talked about off the top of the show, is perhaps auditioning quarterbacks for next year. For the BC Lions, Glenn, I guess they'll decide on their quarterback, whoever's left standing.
Well, Chris Vargas looks serious. I mean, it looks like Chris Vargas will be out. He's got the ankle injury. Damon Allen is shaken up. They're going to evaluate him. We'll see if he can play, but Julio Caravata will likely be the guy who plays for the rest of this game for BC.
So for the BC Lions, it's always something, isn't it? And right now, it's in the hands of a man who has thrown fewer than 75 passes in his CFL career. Back with more right after this.
The reviews are in. Leading industry publications agree that Corel WordPerfect Suite 7, the world's best word processor, is now an unbeatable office suite.
Corel Suites include better internet features than Office or Smart Suite. Feature for feature, the new Corel Suite outperforms the competitors. Now it's Microsoft's turn to play catch-up.
Shouldn't you use the best?
Corel WordPerfect Suite 7. It's unbeatable.
Valvoline's family of products protect your car in tough Canadian conditions. Valvoline Motor Oil, the right oil for your car. Pyroil chemicals enhance and protect your vehicle's performance. Xerox brand antifreeze prevents corrosion under extreme operating conditions. TM8 synthetic engine treatment performs to reduce wear on vital engine parts. Do it right. Valvoline, more than just oil. Enter for a chance to win a go-kart at Canadian Tire stores coast to coast. See stores for details.
The diamond engagement ring. How else could 2 months' salary last forever?
Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina. After the first half, Saskatchewan enjoying a 10-9 lead on the BC Lions, a first half in which we lost power momentarily at the end. Always seems to happen here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I remember our second game last year, Saskatchewan-Edmonton here. We went into overtime, and you were talking on a cell phone for most of the overtime because we lost power.
That's right. The kickoff here is taken by Lamarck Brim, number 1. And Brim, new in the BC Lion scheme of things, gets out to the 50-yard line. And after number 1 returns the kickoff, number 2, Julio Caravata, will direct the offense. So Damon Allen apparently cannot go for the BC Lions. And I would suspect, although we haven't got official confirmation yet, that Chris Vargas has been taken in for x-rays. So Julio Caravata, the pride of Simon Fraser University, directs a BC Lion offense with the win to open the third quarter. And if Caravata was to get hurt, who knows?
Louis Pasaglia.
Probably. On first down, Caravata fakes, can't find a man open, now gets it to Corey Philpott. Philpott, lots of room to run, finally forced out of bounds at the 27-yard line. There's a flag down at midfield.
Well, there's a flag on the field, and Vincent Donaldson was on the ground when Corey Philpott caught that pass. And Vincent Donaldson looks like to me like he's talking about maybe a pick was made.
No, I think he's being called for pass interference.
Eligible receiver, Saskatchewan 24. Decline.
Yeah, the gain is 33 yards. It'll stand. I was looking over there, and Donaldson was involved with the other BC receiver who was down there on Alford.
Yeah, Ted Alford was coming to the outside, and, well, no question about that.
You're not even going to argue that one?
No, DB? I usually side with the DBs, but I can't do it that time.
The Lions have it, 1st and 10 from the Saskatchewan 27. Here's Philpott. Corey Philpott inside the 10. Philpott gets down to the 5-yard line, finally stopped by Aaron Ruffin. But Corey Philpott, a one-man gang for the BC Lions, has a pickup of 23 yards.
Well, I had a conversation with Richie Hall, the defensive coordinator for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he told me, you know, we're pretty good on defense, but we give up big plays at the wrong time. And Corey Philpott took advantage of it there, busting up through the middle, and some sloppy tackling by Saskatchewan.
Now 1st and goal. Philpott looking for that first rushing touchdown of the season, reaches out.
Oh, he was reaching for that one. He was reaching for that one, wasn't he? He could taste it. He wants a touchdown so bad on the ground, and he could taste it, and he reaches out to try and pull it off here. Good job by the Saskatchewan defense to stuff it up. Bobby Jerson and LeBrant Robinson getting in there. Look at Philpott. Oh, I gotta have one.
2nd and goal. And you know the Lions are thinking about getting 6 for number 6. Caravana dives straight ahead.
I don't think so.
I don't know if he got there. No signal from the official.
No
Bring
way.
up 3rd and goal from the 1.
No way. It didn't look like Julio Caravetta got off the football. He took the snap. It looked like he was really slow to try and get to the left side of that offensive line. And he was held short. You see, watch how slow he moves to the left. It doesn't look like there gets any surge there. And give credit to that front four from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Bobby Jerson leads the way, and they stuff him. 2 plays in a row.
Trevor Shaw brings the play in for the BC Lions, who are without right tackle Todd Furtick. Gary Zawadzki has taken his place, so the injuries really starting to pile up for the BC Lions. And they're moving the ball back about an inch.
You know, Gord, Jamie Terrace, number 60 in your screen right there, is the right guard. I think if they're going to go quarterback draw or quarterback sneak, go right behind 60. Last year's Northern outstanding lineman.
3rd and goal. Caravana the fake. Lots of room. Touchdown. Julio Caravana scores the touchdown for the BC Lions, who lead for the first time.
$5, $5.
Well, it was a great play fake to Corey Philpott that gives Julio Caravetta the opportunity to get in the end zone, because the Saskatchewan defense was thinking run all the way, plugged up the middle, but Caravetta broke to the outside. Watch the play fake. Right there in that whole defense, Dan Razovich was the one who had contained on the outside. He was influenced by the fake. Caravetta gets the touchdown.
The 3rd of his CFL career. Now will stay in the hold for the point after, and Lou Pasaglia puts it through.
Stays in the hold. Now he'll go back and get the other tee because he's got to kick off.
That's right. And then he'll drive the team bus to the airport. BC leads Saskatchewan 16-10.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. If your name appears below, you may have won $300 in MasterCard Travelers checks from Bank of Montreal. Enjoy unsurpassed acceptance and replacement service worldwide. Now available in 11 major currencies. Or the new Dirt Devil Ultra Handvac. Twice the power and twice the convenience, now with handy attachments on board. And the new Broom Vac. It sweeps and vacuums in one simple step. Touchdown to Win ballots. Available exclusively at all participating Safeway stores.
That's all it takes.
Hey, look who just turned up. Wait till you see this. Turn out the cup and you can instantly win. Or collect to win spectacular prizes in the Just One Taste of Great Adventures contest. Like Benwood Hitachi Home Theater Systems. Or you could turn out a souped-up package. More than 1 million prizes, including the Ultimate Adventure Package of a Polaris Snow PWC and ATV. Then turn out the country style and turn out the winner.
The country style.
Oh, hi. It's Midas days, and that's why we can't afford a color commercial. But what we've saved, we're passing on to you. Until October 26, Midas will give you a lube, oil, and filter, top-up fluids, test antifreeze, rotate your tires, set the pressure, and check lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. And they'll even inspect your brakes for free. See? It's right here in black and white. Midas, the way it should be. Oh, yeah. Offer ends October 26th.
Julio Caravana talking to Damon Allen on the sidelines, and Caravana, who normally kicks off for the Lions, is not doing it here. Joe Paopao decides to give him a rest, so Lou Pasaglia will kick off for the Lions.
I don't know that it's a rest more than you don't want your only quarterback left to be covering kickoffs. Someone might try to take his head off.
This is Aaron Ruffin from the 23-yard line. And Ruffin dropped down to the 32-yard line, and the BC Lions all kinds of emotion here after this touchdown from Julio Caravana.
I just want to point out again what play action can do to you. There's Dan Razovich. He's influenced by the play fake. He'll go just out of the screen for a minute. Watch him jump inside there. He goes just out of the picture there, and then by the time he gets back in the picture, he's out of the picture and out of the play.
And so the Lions open the second half with a scoring drive that goes 5 plays, 6 yards, and gives them their first lead of the football game. All of this with their first 2 quarterbacks injured. Jimmy Kemp remains in for Saskatchewan. Gets it quickly to Curtis Mayfield, who has the Saskatchewan touchdown, and it's out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Mayfield thought he was gone, but he was pushed out by Maurice Kelly after a gain of 17.
That's a good play call, though. BC Lions line up in that blitz defense on first down, and finally, Jimmy Kemp has the right call to make. You know that Maurice Kelly's going to give Curtis Mayfield some room. Now let's see if he steps out of bounds.
Yep.
Yeah, right there. Good call. You see that left foot is right on the line there, and then he's back in. The official right on the spot.
First down for Saskatchewan. Kemp trying to draw the Lions offside, gives it off to Mims, and Mims gets stacked up, and he gets to the 50-yard line for a gain of 2. Robert Mims leads the league in yards from scrimmage as well, 1,500 plus on the year. And twice this season, he's had 25 carries in a game. That's the high in the Canadian Football League.
And Dave Chaders and him hit helmets a couple of times. Chaders getting a little antsy, but stays onside on the stagger snap count by Jimmy Kemp, and slides over and gets involved in the play.
Second and long. Here comes the blitz. Kemp gets it away and gets it to Dan Farthing. Dan Farthing's first catch of the game, good for a first down to the BC 51-yard line.
Real good throw and catch. Good play by the Saskatchewan offense. Jimmy Kemp had to throw that one as he was on his back feet backpedaling. He drops back here because of the blitz coming down the middle from Tyrone Chapman. Kind of has to jump up as he's backpedaling, and then his receiver makes him look good when Dan Farthing lays out and pulls it off the turf.
Dan Farthing, a Saskatchewan native, played for the University of Saskatchewan, has his first catch of the day. Mims tries the right side, and Dave Chaders tees him up, and David Mava finishes Mims off.
Well, Dave Chaders been having a good football game. He's put a tremendous amount of pressure on Jimmy Kemp on passing situations, and from his nose tackle position, he slides over real well. He's got good mobility laterally, and he runs down a pretty quick running back before he gets to the outside.
We talked about Scott Hendrickson earlier. Dave Chaders was telling the story before the game about lining up opposite Hendrickson. They played against each other in college, and Chaders blocked a field goal to win a game. And Grell let him, remember me? Henderson looked up and goes, oh, not you. Second down. Kemp has time. He's going to run it, and he's not going anywhere. Tyrone Rogers ran him down. Well, and forced him back inside, and Joe Fleming finished him off.
Sorry, Gert. I mean, Jimmy Kemp is a pretty good young quarterback. He reads well, throws the ball pretty well, but he's not a running quarterback. In fact, coming into this game, he had only rushed the ball for 9 yards on 16 carries.
Ouch.
That's an average of 0.6 yards a carry. So you know he's not a running quarterback.
Brent Mattich to punt into the wind. Ted Alford is back deep. So is Lamarck Brim. And Mattich, along with Lou Pasaglia, has all kinds of fun kicking into this stiff breeze. Not a bad kick. Maurice Kelly fields it down to the 33-yard line. Dives ahead, flags everywhere. That'll be no yards against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 16-10 BC leads. You're watching the CFL Live from Taylor Field.
At Maple Leaf, when we reduced the fat in our new lean and light wieners and bologna, we tested the taste with families just like yours. We found we could reduce the fat by 60%, and lean and light would still have that mouth-watering Maple Leaf taste. Any less fat? Well then, we'd appeal to only some members of the family. The uncompromised great taste of new Maple Leaf Lean and Light. Taste that's a cut above.
Valvoline's family of products protect your car in tough Canadian conditions. Valvoline Motor Oil, the right oil for your car. Pyroil chemicals enhance and protect your vehicle's performance. Xerox brand antifreeze prevents corrosion under extreme operating conditions. TM8 synthetic engine treatment performs to reduce wear on vital engine parts. Do it right. Valvoline, more than just oil. Enter for a chance to win a go-kart at Canadian Tire stores coast to coast. See stores for details.
In this clinic, I can't stop for a tough headache, so I asked the doctor. We talked about different kinds of pain relievers, aspirin and Tylenol, but today she recommends Advil. It really works fast, and it's tough on pain. Just one Advil's as effective as 2 regular-strength Tylenol. Headache?
No, thanks. I've already got one.
Advil, for today's tough pain.
Damon Allen began the game as the BC Lions starting quarterback, but was injured early on when he was accidentally leg whipped by Saskatchewan's Tommy Smith. He was then replaced by Chris Vargas, who was stepped on by his teammate Sean Millington. And as a result, BC's starting 2 quarterbacks are out of this football game. Julio Caravata in for the Lions. And Caravata's first pass here, intended for Mike Trevathan, falls incomplete. Julio Caravata was #1 on the depth chart in training camp.
That's right. He came into training camp #1 after a good performance in the last game of the regular season for the BC Lions against Baltimore. But Montreal got Julio Caravata, picked him up on one of the Canadian equalization draft picks. Caravata refused to go to Montreal, sat around, missed most of training camp. Andre Ware gets the start. Caravata's third in the depth chart when the season opens.
Caravata throws that pass incomplete. Aaron Ruffin had a shot at it. Vincent Donaldson had a shot at it. Terrell Ulmer had a shot at it, but the pass ball's incomplete.
Well, Aaron Ruffin and Terrell Ulmer is, of course, leading the Saskatchewan Roughriders in interceptions with 5 on the year. And see, Ruffin had a crack at it. He has a couple on the season and having a pretty good year returning kicks as well. You know, he has 2 touchdowns on punt returns this season. And I talked to him about it. He says, you know, I've had 1 called back as well, and I fumbled 1 going into about the 10-yard line.
Good kick by Pasaglia. This is Harris from the 24-yard line. Forced back, and he is jumped by Trevor Shaw. And Harris is stopped at the 25-yard line. A 42-yard punt by Pasaglia, and it ends up as being no return for Rod Harris.
Well, he picked up a few yards, then saw that wall of white jerseys and said, none of this, I'm going back.
So stay with them.
Now, Jimmy Kemp late getting the coat off.
Wouldn't you be?
We suntan in this weather, and you can see him behind Jim Daly there a moment ago. That was Roger Aldag, the outstanding former offensive lineman for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
He helped out in training camp as an offensive line coach, and now he's coaches during the game, helps out during the games.
On first down, this is Mims behind that big offensive line. Oh, man. Henry Newby ran him down, and Robert Mims didn't know what hit him.
Henry Newby's got good speed for a big man. He's 230 pounds. His first game with the BC Lions was in Seattle's camp and was a late cut there, and BC Lions very happy to have him back. I mean, Mims takes off. Look at the backside pursuit from Henry Newby.
Oh. And he got cut down low by Maurice Kelly as well. Mims is lucky he got up.
That's pretty good speed.
Here comes the blitz on second down. Oh, look out. Kemp got buried. He was looking over to his left, but Reggie Carthon jumped up, and all Kemp could see was green.
I don't know if Newby or Joe Fleming will get credit for the sack, but they should give half of the sack to Reggie Carthon because Jimmy Kemp had nowhere to throw that football. Reggie Carthon is coming on on the halfback blitz right here. He's going to come upfield and then hurdle the block of Bruce Boyko, or excuse me, Robert Mims. Look at this. Jimmy Kemp can't see downfield. And Henry Newby comes up and grabs the legs of Jim Kemp and pulls him to the ground.
Quarterback's getting an up-close look at the turf here at Taylor Field. A sack of 7 yards for BC. Matic will have to punt. Saskatchewan trying to hang on until they can get the win in the 4th quarter. Matic, low line drive kick. It's a good one. Drives Alford back to midfield. And Alford dives up to the 50-yard line. All in all, pretty good. A 36-yard punt, a return of 4. That's a net of 32 after a net of 6 on the last one. Julio and the Lions up by 6.
When you need a sealant that's got to stick, Mono Ultra does the trick. Mono Ultra. When it calls for the best, the choice is clear. There won't be anything like it for years. Mono Ultra. It works in the sun. It works in your shower. You wash up with water and make it an hour. Exterior ceiling's a whole new drill with Mono Ultra. It cures fast, it won't shrink or crack, and it's completely paintable. Mono Ultra. Get the Mono.
Nebs is a direct marketer. Things like checks and forms and business cards and labels. You know, being in a small town doesn't hinder our business at all. The majority of our customers use either the Advantage toll-free phone or fax lines.
And really, the 1-800 lines are the lifeline between us and our customers. We've had an increase of about 35%.
If our 1-800 lines went down, we'd be out of business.
Advantage, providing solutions for business.
Valvoline's family of products protect your car in tough Canadian conditions. Valvoline Motor Oil, the right oil for your car. Pyroil chemicals enhance and protect your vehicle's performance. Xerox brand antifreeze prevents corrosion under extreme operating conditions. TM8 synthetic engine treatment performs to reduce wear on vital engine parts. Do it right. Valvoline, more than just oil. Enter for a chance to win a go-kart at Canadian Tire stores coast to coast. See stores for details.
Closed captioning of this CFL telecast is brought to you by Subway. Try Subway's great tasting classic Italian BMT.
Welcome back to Taylor Field. Good field position for the Lions as they start at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line. On first down, this is Corey Philpott, who dives ahead a couple of yards down to the 47-yard line. We saw Damon Allen on the sidelines a few minutes ago. Well, after the last series, Chris Vargas made his way back to the BC sideline on crutches with that left ankle up in the air. The good news is, doesn't appear to be broken, or they'd have kept it likely, so it looks like a badly sprained ankle. And so Allen on the sidelines, we're told, to be used only in an emergency. And Julio Caravetta directs the BC attack. From the shotgun on second down, Caravetta guns it as Trevathan, who has a first down to the 37-yard line. No one should say that Julio Caravetta does not have a very strong arm.
No, that's what they like about Julio Caravetta. He can throw it in there. I mean, in that game in Baltimore last year, played a real good, solid football game, and he can throw the curl. Terrell Almer is in pretty good position, but that ball was a dart.
On first down, back to the ground, Corey Philpott. And Philpott gets thrown down hard at the 35-yard line by Tim Edwards and Errol Brown after a pickup of a couple. Damon Allen has put a brace, as you can see, on his left knee. And we are told that he could play if needed.
Yeah, Damon Allen, of course, is a running quarterback, so
he's 1-8 in his last 9 games at Taylor Field. Once again, the wide throw by Julio Caravetta. Larry Thompson makes the catch. It has a first down to the 20-yard line. And the BC Lions make hay while the wind is with them, to mix my farming metaphor.
You know, when we go and do all these games, we always have a meeting with both head coaches, and across the league, without a doubt, every head coach in the league thinks that Larry Thompson may be one of the best receivers in the game today.
On first down, Caravetta off the face mask and incomplete. He was looking for Ted Alford, and Terrell Ulmer flattened him looking for the loose ball.
Well, you know, we talked about the arm strength of Julio Caravetta. Sometimes you got to put a little touch on that ball. Ted Alford was only about 10 to 12 yards away from his quarterback, and that was like a hot potato coming at him. Bounced right off his face mask. Watch the strength on this throw. Right off the face mask.
Second down. Draw play to Corey Philpott.
6 is Philpott.
And Philpott has a gain of 3. He'll be well short of the BC first down, so we'll likely see Luke Persanglia in the field goal unit.
Well, I'm not a big fan of draw plays on 2nd and long. I got to tell you, I mean, I'm not second-guessing Joe Pow. I mean, he's the one on the sideline making the decisions, but, you know, you get in a 2nd and 4 or 5 situation, draw play's pretty good, but 10 yards, a lot of yards to gain.
Now Pasaglia to try a 25-yarder. He hit the upright last time. But this time he puts it through, and then some. It cleared the end zone by a few miles with the wind behind it. And with 3:39 to play, the BC Lions have extended their lead to 19-10 over Saskatchewan. BC has won the last 4 meetings between these two teams. And that time, Lou Pasaglia, a graduate of Simon Fraser University, gets a good hold from Julio Caravetta of SFU.
Yeah, Julio kind of had to double clutch it. Caught it at the beginning, and then he kind of was slipping through his fingers, so he presses against the turf and gets it on the tee.
Should point out that Julio graduated from Simon Fraser 16 years after Louis did. 3:38 to play and counting here in the 3rd quarter, so Saskatchewan now down by 9 will work into the wind briefly and then try to do something with the wind in the 4th quarter. The wind is really starting to blow now. Mims on 1st down. Shakes, bakes, and not much happens. Joe Fleming got there along with Tyrone Chapman. And Robert Mims has a gain of 2.
Yeah, Tyrone Chapman makes the play. I mean, he's the leading tackler for the BC Lions, has 60 on the year. He's around the football, but he strings it out. He knows he's got Maurice Kelly outside in containment, strings out Robert Mims and comes up with a good play.
Chapman's hometown of Dumas, Arkansas, is not far from Hope, which just happens to be the birthplace of U.S. President Bill Clinton.
That was not in the notes.
Oh, look out, loose ball. Kemp picks it up. And Kemp gets up to the 44-yard line. If you designed to play like that, it worked pretty well. He gets 7 yards. That's the old fumble-rooski where you leave the ball on the ground, right?
The old fumble-rooski. Usually a lineman picks it up on the fumble-rooski, but I don't think they planned it by bouncing it off the shins of Jimmy Kemp, but it'll work out to be just short of a 1st down for Saskatchewan.
And rather than punt the ball 15 yards or something, they'll gamble on 3rd and a long yard. Brent Matic had a net punt of 6 yards earlier in this quarter. A 22-yard kick, no yards. Third and a long yard. Mims has it easily.
Robert Mims.
And it's a rugby scrum down there now, but Mims has a pickup of 3 and an easy Saskatchewan 1st down.
A pretty nice job by the right side of that offensive line for Saskatchewan. A nice pocket for Robert Mims to run into, and picks up the 1st down.
That's Kevin Mason, the man you were talking about in the opening there with Jim Daly. Mason, the man that a lot of people think might be the opening day starter for Saskatchewan next year.
And the guy you're looking at right now is the one who wants to change the coach's mind on that decision. He has 2 games to do that.
On 1st down, Kemp, quick throw, Boyko can't hang on. And that's a costly incompletion for the Saskatchewan Roughriders because it will stop the clock here late in the 3rd quarter. Saskatchewan, if it can keep the drive going, could get the win on this drive.
And Saskatchewan wants to get out of this quarter. It is their worst quarter in the season. They only scored 37 points in the 3rd quarter. That averages 2.5 points per game. They just want to get this one over with.
Wow. Jim Daly might want to sharpen up his halftime speeches. Second down. Here comes the rush. Kemp sets up the screen perfectly. All kinds of room for Mims. Still going. Mims tripped up as he gets to the 30-yard line. Maurice Kelly probably saved a touchdown. If you don't like the draw on 2nd and long, you gotta love the
the screen pass for 33 yards against the blitz.
I tell you what, you have got to love the execution of this screenplay. You know that the BC Lions are coming with the blitz. It is a great call, but watch the execution from the 5 offensive linemen. Block for a minute, then let that front 5 go. Look at every BC line in the backfield and a convoy out in front of number 27, Robert Mims. There's Paul Vida making a block. What a play.
First down, Kemp looking up the sideline, has a man, Narcisse, touchdown! But there's a flag at the 10. It would be the 4th touchdown catch of the year for Narcisse. But the penalties against the Lions and the touchdown will stand. A 30-yard score.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. BC 7-6. Decline.
Penalty goes against Joe Fleming, but Joe Fleming's a lineman. He may mix it up. Here comes the pattern from Don Narcisse. Just nothing fancy, just gets outside of Maurice Kelly, but Maurice Kelly makes the cardinal mistake as a defensive back, looking back at the quarterback. One of the most unique dances in the Canadian Football League.
And now Frank Jagas for the point after to bring Saskatchewan within 2. What a huge drive for the Green Riders. They run off the remaining time in the 3rd quarter. They're within 2, and when the 4th quarter begins, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will have the win and a chance to retake the lead.
CFL Live at the Quarter, brought to you by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
So Jimmy Kemp drives the Saskatchewan Roughriders downfield, and then he goes into the end zone for Don Narcisse, and lo and behold, we got a 2-point football game. Hey, but having said that, Julio Caravetta doesn't look too bad at all, Coach.
No, you know, Julio's been in the league for a number of years, and he's had an opportunity to be around a good quarterback coach like Joe Paopao, and you know, he's got the arm strength. He just has to learn how to use it properly.
That's the point that I wanted to talk to you about, because during that whole quarter, ever since Caravata's been in, and Gordon Gled mentioned it as well, Caravata's got a gun for an arm. It's just making the right reads.
We're just never quite sure where he's going to throw it to. That could be the problem. It's like the guy that can hit the driver 300 yards. We just may not find it sometimes. But Julio, that could be his problem occasionally.
You know what I'm wondering about, gentlemen? Damon Allen has a clause in his contract stipulating that he receives a bonus of somewhere around $12,500 for every game that he starts and the Lions win. Well, he was 4 for 7 in this game. He didn't last very long. I wonder if he's going to get that big bonus.
Well, if he does, if they win, he better share it with the other guys.
No,
because,
I'll tell you what, you better thank his agent.
You know what? Does Price Waterhouse know about this bonus and the clauses in his contract? Because they could be the determining factor. Let's return to Taylor Field. We're setting ourselves up for a pretty good finish. Let's go back to Gordon Glenn.
All right, thanks very much, guys. Leif Pedersen talking about guys who hit the ball 300 yards and can't find it. I know, I've played golf with Leif. I've gotten Dutch elm disease looking for some of his drives. How about Don Narcisse with the touchdown catch here? And Don is moving up on the list in the CFL's all-time catch list. He tied Rocky DiPietro earlier in the game, has now moved past him into 2nd place alone on the CFL's all-time catch list.
And 157 yards away from his 8th consecutive 1,000-yard season.
Corey Philpott takes that sailing kickoff back at the 10-yard line. Here comes Philpott. Leaping, he gets up to the 36-yard line, and Corey Philpott looked to be a step away from being gone.
You know, when you're on the kickoff cover team, you're trying to hold teams to about the 35-yard line on a return. That's about where Corey Philpott got to, but boy, did it ever look good.
And Philpott may be injured. Wow, Damon Allen, Chris Vargas, Todd Furtick, the right tackle, Kelly Sims, the starting defensive halfback, and now Corey Philpott have all been injured in this game.
Just take a look. He kind of hurdles one of the tacklers right there and then goes down to the ground hard. Didn't see him twist anything, but might just have the wind knocked out of him when he hit the ground.
His place will be taken by Lamarck Brim in the line. There's Don Narcisse laughing it up on the sidelines, and
He now has 707 career catches. Ray Elgard, his former teammate, 123 ahead. Elgard, the all-time leader in the Canadian Football League. Interesting about that list is that DiPietro, Coffees, and Gabriel all played for the Hamilton Ticats.
And I know Don Narcisse would love to catch Ray Elgard, but got to be looking back at another guy that was on that list, Alan Pitts, not far behind him.
And he's making strides big time. He's taking him 3 steps at a time. So Philpott makes his way off the field, appears to be all right. Lamarck Brim, number 1, just added to the roster this week, will take his place in the BC Lions offensive backfield. And he takes the toss from Julio Caravana. Brim up across the 40, gets to the 43-yard line. The BC Lions like the way this guy runs the ball. He's out of Langston College, the same college as Ted Alford. And he's got 6 yards on his first carry.
Well, he's a lot like Corey Philpott. He's got great speed to the outside, hits the holes very quickly, and for BC right now, he's got fresh legs.
On second down, Caravana looking for Matt Clark. That looked to be tipped at the line of scrimmage. It'll fall incomplete. And the BC Lions will be forced to punt.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Matt Clark might not be able to have got 2 hands on that pass, because kind of casually stuck one arm out, and he might have been able to, if he got 2 on, he could peel it in.
Come on, Ruff.
Let's take a look, see if the ball was tipped. Caravana just take the 2-step drop and kind of sidearm it out there, and it wasn't tipped on the play, but pretty casual attempt at it by Matt Clark.
Lou Pasaglia has not punted into the wind for a couple of hours, not since the first quarter, and it is blowing considerably harder now than it was then. Colder, too. A one-hop snap. Pasaglia gets it away. Low driving kick. Ruffin does a great job to catch it. Saskatchewan hollering for no yards, but it won't be called. And now some pushing and shoving breaks out. A 23-yard punt by Pasaglia. And involved there for Saskatchewan was Sheldon Benoit, number 70.
Well, Louis Pasaglia ran a fake last week versus the Edmonton Eskimos that was successful, and he looked like he was trying to fake it there. Gary Rogers, of course, was bearing down on it, and then the great play by Aaron Ruffin looks a little bit like a shortstop taking that on the first bounce.
Well, when you've been around as long as Louis, you know there's going to be days like this with a wind like this. Not quite like his dome, where the air conditioning is the only thing you got to worry about. On first down, Kemp gives it off to Robert Mims. Mims has a convoy in front of him and gets up to the 50-yard line. A pickup of 3. Just over 13 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Here are the numbers through 3, and you can see that things have picked up a bit in the second half.
But I think the big difference there too is the time of possession. It was lopsided for BC in the first half, but as of the third quarter now, it's all evened up. Saskatchewan's keeping drives alive.
Robert Mims now 18 carries for 85 yards in the football game, and the wind is at Saskatchewan's back. Here comes the rush. Kemp gets it away for Narcisse. And Narcisse has a first down into BC territory at the 50-yard line. That's twice that play has worked to perfection for Saskatchewan.
And both times Saskatchewan has run this play, it's been when they had the wind at their back, because BC plays a softer defense when the wind is in their face, in their face. And Narcisse comes underneath on the pick. The DBs are all way off, and I'm going to get this one out before it's over.
When does BC play softer defense?
When they have the wind
in their face.
Right.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
I got it figured out.
From the 49-yard line, first down. Kemp, lots of time, hits Mims. Mims inside the 35-yard line, gets down to the 31. And Mims with a pickup of 18 yards, another Saskatchewan first down.
It's a smart play calling by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Again, BC going with that zone defense, something they don't really play that much of all season. And when you play the zone, just dump it underneath and let your running back pick up the yardage, and they're going to get a little more.
And rough play is tacked on to the end of it, which will give Saskatchewan the ball at the 16-yard line. Ooh, Dave Chaters took a punch at Jimmy Kemp. And Kemp says to Paul Vida, hey, man, don't go after him. We got the penalty.
Well, Paul Vida, of course, going to run to the aid of his quarterback, but it's a good move by Kemp.
The penalty puts Saskatchewan down to the 16, and Mims will get down to the 13 as Saskatchewan pounds it out along the ground. The thing about Saskatchewan is that Mims runs the ball very well for them, but on their roster tonight, the second leading rusher is Darren Joseph, who has 2 carries for 16 yards. So Mims does all the rushing for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, no question. I mean, he has by far more attempts than anyone in the Canadian Football League running the ball.
He's got 80% of Saskatchewan's rushing yards. From the 13-yard line, kept to the end zone. Farthing can't get it. In fact, Farthing was there with Ron Harris. They were standing side by each, and the pass falls incomplete. Jimmy Kipp says, my fault.
My fault because he gave both receivers the same sort of pattern that made them end up in the same place. I mean, Boyko wasn't that far off. Tyrone Chapman's bearing down on Kemp, and he looks down there and sees a couple of green jerseys and thinks, hey, maybe my odds aren't bad.
Throw it into the crowd.
Throw it in there. You never know. See Bruce Boyko not far away either.
Third down from the 13-yard line, and we'll see a Frank Jagus field goal try from the 20. Kind of a tumbling snap. Flags are down, and Jagus puts it through. Now it's 3rd and 7. If the penalty was against the BC Lions, it might make it interesting.
It is. Well, according to Dan Farthing, it's against BC.
That would make it 3rd and 2. I think Saskatchewan will take the points.
BC 11. Decline.
Rule of field goal stands, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders regain the lead at 20-19.
Rule of thumb for the head coach: never take points off the board.
It's a seesaw affair, and Saskatchewan is back on top.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. If your name appears below, you may have won the all-new Uniden 25-channel cordless phone and digital answering system. It's loaded with exceptional features, no tapes or moving parts. Uniden, built with quality that really goes the distance. Or durable Macassa stoneware in the lifestyle pattern. It's oven, detergent, microwave, and dishwasher safe. For finest quality dinnerware, stemware, flatware, and gifts, Macassa sets the standard. Touchdown to Win ballots available exclusively at all participating Safeway stores.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
Saskatchewan back on top by a score of 20-19 after that last field goal. Stay tuned after the game coming up tonight to get you ready for a Saturday night of hockey. Esso NHL Saturday night with Paul Romana pinch hitting for me and Bob McKenzie. Can't be in two places at once, as the old saying goes. The BC Lions will take the ball at their own 35-yard line, working into the wind with their third-string quarterback. But they're right in this football game, which has been a very good game.
Third-string quarterback and second-string tailback.
Yeah. And a backup right tackle. First down, Caravana will throw it. He'll throw it deep. Looking up the sidelines, his intended receiver, Larry Thompson, fell, working on Vincent Donaldson, and the two old roomies have a laugh about it.
Well, I think we should recall that play and say it's Caravana going deep to Vincent Donaldson, and Larry Thompson coming up with the big defensive play to get that ball out of there. Go throw it to the wind, even with the strong arm, it's awfully tough, and Julio Caravana throws that one short. Vincent Donaldson had a better chance at it than Larry Thompson.
Second down from the 35-yard line. Caravana in the shotgun. Low snap. Caravana slings his sidearm, gets it to Millington, but he's wrapped up quickly by Aaron Ruffin. Well, a busted play, and it forces BC to punt.
Well, Julio Caravetta does not have a whole lot of playing experience, and I think if he would see this one on the film, he would choose to take off and run with this. The snap is low and at the ankles, but he's got a big opening and hesitates. When you hesitate in a game with the defense as quick as Saskatchewan's, it's all over. They got the field goal team on.
And here we go. This is not an 80-yard field goal try by Bisaglia. They're going to do it again. They're going to just use the field goal team to angle this out of bounds. Oh, high snap. And Bisaglia puts it through. No, just kidding. Aaron Ruffin fields it at the 35-yard line. And here comes Aaron Ruffin. Now, one problem with using your field goal team for that, you got all those linemen out there.
Exactly.
Aaron Ruffin gets a great return.
That's the point I was going to make, Gordon. I mean, that's the chance you take. If you put the field goal team on in a situation like that, you got to get the ball out of bounds because the guys covering are offensive linemen, not special team guys, which are usually linebackers. So you take a chance if you don't get it out of bounds. And Joe Paopao sees pretty good field position for the Saskatchewan Roughriders because Bisaglia couldn't get that one out of bounds.
Well, it was a 34-yard kick, a return of 23. The net is 11. And the result is that Saskatchewan will start this drive on the BC side of midfield. 9:44 to play in the fourth quarter.
See that ball way down the numbers. I mean, that's 25 yards from the numbers to the sideline. So Louis missed that field goal attempt. Or sideline attempt.
And Aaron Ruffin, who's had a pretty good day with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, he snuffed out that swing pass to Millington on the previous play and gets a good return here for Jim Kemp to set up the offense. He's 12 of 21 today with a couple of touchdown passes and no interceptions. This after last week when he had no touchdown passes, was picked off 3 times, was sacked 8 times. Yeah, 2 weeks ago against Hamilton, Glenn, 3 touchdown passes against the Ticats.
Yeah, that's what I talked to him. I said, you must have had some, you're kind of going through a roller coaster here because in Hamilton he threw for 71% and then had the bad outing last week in Winnipeg. But he said, I'm learning personnel. I've been trying to learn all year. We've rotated quarterbacks. We've changed offensive philosophies a few times, and it's tough to get any rhythm.
And when you talk about the ticket in the U.S., of course, you're talking about Bob Dole and Jack Kemp. Well, there's Bill Dole, the offensive line coach, and Jim Kemp. And by the way, I checked it. Saskatchewan does have a season ticket holder named Clinton and another one named Gore, but we don't know if they're here today.
You check that.
Absolutely.
It doesn't surprise me a bit.
They got one named Nixon, too. From the 47-yard line, Kemp, lots of time, has it complete to Rod Harris. Maurice Kelly brings him down at the 42-yard line. And the pickup on the play is 6.
Well, now what Saskatchewan wants to do is just retain field position and just keep possession of the football. Don't do anything silly right now for the offense of the Saskatchewan Roughriders because they got good field position. The wind's at their back. All they need to do is stay in field goal range and keep the ball, almost keep the ball on the ground here.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders have fumbled the ball a league-leading 34 times this year. Second down, early movement, and it looks like that time the staggered cadence by Jimmy Kemp worked to perfection.
Was there any head bob there?
I don't think so. Chapman's saying there was.
Offside, BC 56.
Well, he was called. So that's a first down the easy way.
Well, Jim Kemp learned from the first time he tried that not to use the head, just use the voice. Staggers his count, does a nice job of it, and Tyrone Chapman jumps offside.
First down for Saskatchewan from the BC 37-yard line. Robert Mims, look at Mims go. Down to the 24-yard line, the safety, Tom Europe, made the stop.
This is a point in the game when you love to have a great running attack. Robert Mims, of course, we've talked about it all game, leading the league in rushing, and overall, this team is 4th in the CFL in running, and when you have a bit of a lead, the wind at your back, and keep the ball on the ground and pick up yards like this, you're going to have success.
8 minutes to play now in the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan has the lead and the ball. Mims gets down to the 20-yard line for a pickup of 5.
You know what's amazing about Robert Mims, Gord, is I'm looking through the stats Saskatchewan provides to us, and I see his best game of the season, 180-yard game. It was versus the Edmonton Eskimos in week 2, and I had to take the double take and look at the team that he did it on. The Edmonton Eskimos, who have the #1 defense in the league.
And they have not been run on like that since. And he's over 100 on this game as well. The fake to Mims. Kemp, all kinds of room. And he'll run it. Out of bounds at the 10-yard line. He'll have a Saskatchewan first down. If he'd wanted to, he could have gotten to the end zone. He had 2 receivers open.
Kemp on that run just ran for about half of what he's run for all season. Pretty good play fake to Mims. I mean, why wouldn't the BC defense be thinking that he would get the football, and then Kemp just labors his way to this first down.
You mentioned he averages 0.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And Saskatchewan with a great running attack that we talked about at the start of the show. A first down at the 10. Mims.
Look at that.
Bounces off the first wave and gets down to the 3. BC had him stuffed for nothing. Instead, gives up a gain of 7.
Joe Fleming and Dave Cheaters were standing shoulder pad to shoulder pad looking at Robert Mims straight in the eye and couldn't come up with the tackle. I mean, they come up, look at this, they have them both right there, and they're grabbing at nothing but air. Boy, Mims has some great moves.
Short yardage team comes in now for Saskatchewan. All the big guys. Timothy Edwards comes in there. Keith Hiscox, LeBrant Robinson, Sheldon Benoit, Bobby Jurison.
And Bobby Jurison plays in the backfield, actually. He says, boy, I'd love to just get the ball once. He hasn't had a running play all season.
His son's a quarterback.
I reminded him that, Bobby, your thing is not with the football, okay? You just rush quarterbacks.
Second and goal from the 4. Mims down to the 1.
Mims, the ball carrier.
And we'll get another third and goal from the 1.
1-yard line.
Last time it was the BC Lions and Caravana scored.
Well, now a field goal makes this a 4-point game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So big decision for Jim Daly, because that means the BC Lions would have to score a touchdown to win.
Into the win.
Yeah, and if he's held here, now it's a 1-point game.
I guess
a field goal wins it.
His thinking would be, though, if you get stopped here, it would take a 109-yard drive into the win. And the measurement reveals, by the way, Mims, if he'd gotten down to about the 2-inch line, could have got a first down, but does not. So Jim Daly
is gambling.
Will gamble on third and goal from the 1.
Well, it's back to the 1-yard line. This is a big momentum builder one way or the other.
Kemp straight ahead.
I don't think he got it.
The ball came out. Touchdown! Touchdown, Saskatchewan! And the BC Lions are going to argue this for a while. It looked like a bad snap, but Kemp gets credit for the touchdown. His first rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, Jimmy Kemp got stuffed up initially, but that front 5 for the offensive line kept pushing and pushing. Kemp finally worked his way into the end zone. It looked to me when I first saw it that he didn't get in.
But he did.
But he did, according to the officials.
And now Frank Jagas for the point after to make it an 8-point Saskatchewan lead. I guess you wouldn't think of going for 2 here to make it a 9-point lead. Jagas puts it through. 5.5 to play in the fourth quarter. The Saskatchewan Roughriders lead it by 8.
The reviews are in. Leading industry publications agree that Corel WordPerfect Suite 7, the world's best word processor, is now an unbeatable Office suite.
Corel Suites include better internet features than Office or Smart Suite. Feature for feature, the new Corel Suite outperforms the competitors. Now it's Microsoft's turn to play catch-up.
Shouldn't you use the best?
Corel WordPerfect Suite 7. It's unbeatable.
Lasagna, sausage, and a spicy meatball.
I could be up all night with heartburn.
Not with this.
Pepsid AC acid controller.
This one little pill can stop heartburn before it starts. Just take this one now. It'll prevent heartburn and control acid for up to 9 hours.
Bless you.
New Pepsid AC, the first non-prescription medicine that can relieve and prevent heartburn caused by a meal. You can be heartburn-free with new Pepsid AC.
I think it needs a little more spice.
See the bear? Taste the food.
Morning. Morning. Morning.
See the bear? Taste the food. The sausage and egger. A fresh grade A egg, specially seasoned sausage, and processed cheddar. See the bear?
Jimmy Kemp has the rushing touchdown with a little help from his friend.
Yeah, I was going to say, my call is correct. Jimmy Kemp did not get in the end zone, but Sheldon Benoit helped him in.
He just pushed him in the rear end and got him in.
You see right down the line, initially he doesn't get in there, but when Benoit gives him that extra little push, the ball definitely has crossed the plane.
Corey Philpott on the kickoff return, and Philpott gets out to the 35-yard line. Rick Walters makes the stop, a 60-yard kickoff, a return of 20.
Well, how'd you like to be a BC Lion head coach? You got your third-string quarterback in, your second-string tailback in, and you're up against the wind and an 8-point deficit.
Yeah, Philpott shaken up a bit. And he'll make his way to the sidelines. Well, this is a familiar story for the BC Lions. For the 10th time this year, they carry the lead into the fourth quarter. In the previous 9 times they've led going into the final quarter, they've lost 5 of the games. This will be the 6th time in 10 games they've led and then trailed in the fourth quarter. And don't forget, they've had some last-minute crushings, too.
Well, I just still shake my head when I think about last week's game and how they lost that one with a couple of penalties that are almost unheard of.
First down, Caravana slings it out there for Alford, and he can't make the catch, and now Alford comes up limping.
Another injury for the BC Lions, and
I'll tell you what, they won't take the bus to the airport, they'll just grab ambulances.
Trevor Shaw will be the backup receiver, number 86, that will have to come back into the game for Ted Alford.
2nd and 10 at the 35.
Wow. I guess the good news is they'll have all off-season to heal these injuries, but still. Next week, the Lions are in Toronto to face the Argonauts. They'll be glad to be back under a dome, even if it's not their own. Oh, all kinds of early movement, and that was Craig Hendrickson who jumped there.
1, 2, 3.
So that'll back him up 5.
Illegal procedure. BC 58.
Craig Hendrickson said to me before the game, he said, you know, the only time you've been talking about me is when I get a penalty.
Here we go again.
Guess what, Craig?
Well, I guess we could say, like, it's good that he's got those hairy arms because we'll keep him warm today, but he'd probably rather we talked about penalties, wouldn't he? 2nd down and 15. Caravana from the shotgun. Has Larry Thompson. And Thompson has a first down and then some. Loses the football, but they'll rule it Saskatchewan ball. Thompson said he had it, but the referee says it's Rider ball at the Saskatchewan 52-yard line.
Well, that is amazing. I thought Larry Thompson was out of bounds over there on the sideline. Get a good look at it here. First of all, a tremendous throw by Caravetta to get it way out there, but here's the move, and
Terrell Ulmer
hits him from behind.
Punches it out.
And they're ruling that Saskatchewan...
Now
they're changing their mind.
They're changing the call. The Saskatchewan offense was on the field, and they'll now say it's a catch and a 28-yard gain.
Well, this is unheard of. I mean, this is twice in this game that an official has changed his mind. And that's 2 more times than I'd seen in my whole career.
Well, the call on the sideline is made by Dennis Zwarich, number 33, and he's from here. I hope he's got an unlisted phone number. From the 51, first down, BC. Caravana wants the out and up, has a man wide open, Alford. And the pass was underthrown. He can't make the catch, but he was wide open.
Well, in the win like that, Ted Alford's got to make the adjustment to the football. You can't really blame Julio Caravetta because he is in behind Vincent Donaldson. Now he's just got to gear it down, read the football, and come back and help out his quarterback.
Well, he slipped on that slick turf here at Taylor Field.
Good pattern initially, but a bad read on the gauging the wind.
Second and 10. 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Look out, here comes the rush. Caravana gets it to Thompson. A flag is down. Thompson loses the football. And Saskatchewan gets it back. Gary Rogers picks it up for the Riders and gets up to the 49. But the question is, what's that flag about? And now another late flag comes down at the end of the play. There's a flag down at the 27-yard line.
The first flag at the 27 has got to be pass interference one way or the other. Now, that flag was thrown before the catch to the sideline. That means if it's pass interference Saskatchewan, it'll be a BC Lion first down.
Caravana's hurt.
And the officials are talking to the BC Lions.
Wow. Shades of last week, isn't it? Controversial calls, you name it.
Well, Mike Trevathan still has his helmet on, so he's not involved.
Now, Sawatsky, number 64, I think, was involved in an altercation with a Saskatchewan player after the play, so Bud Steen will have to sort this out. Let's see what the call is.
And remember, Gary Rogers has recovered a fumble.
Wow.
Come on, we're on the edge of our seat.
Contact on an eligible receiver, Saskatchewan. We have rough play, disqualification, British Columbia, number 64.
Wow.
15-yard penalty, back from the point of the last scrimmage. BC's ball, down repeated.
Now, here's the problem. BC gets the ball back, but Sawatsky's out of the game. Todd Furtick was the man he replaced. He's hurt. So now the BC Lions are going to have to figure out who to play at offensive line.
Well, they don't have another true offensive lineman dressed, so I believe they're going to go with Dave Caters, number 74, to play offense. He hasn't lined up in that position at all this season.
Now Trevathan's going to explain the plays to him.
I don't know that Mike Trevathan should be the guy explaining how to block from the guard position. If Dave Caters was going to catch passes, yeah.
So Sawatsky's out of the game. We got a nose guard in for BC. They get the ball back, but it's second and 25. Otherwise, it would have been a first down. Carl Coulter trying to help out Dave Caters. And the play clock has expired.
Yeah, Greg Battle, the veteran, was pointing to the play clock to get the officials' attention because it had run out, so it'll be 30 yards for a first down for BC.
Second and 30. Into the wind. Kick it. I don't know if Joe Papa has any pages on the playbook to cover second and 30 into the wind in Regina at the end of October.
You know what? You almost want to deliberately throw an interception here. It's as good as a punt.
Gotta hurry. Gets the play off. Here comes the rush. Caravana over the middle looking there for Mike Trevathan. It'll be third and 30.
Well, Matt Clark had got open on the play, and the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense should go over and congratulate Gary Rogers for the success of that one, because had Carabetta had a little more time, he'd have found Matt Clark, who was wide open for what would have been a huge back-breaking first down for BC, but Gary Rogers had the great pressure.
Now, Gary Sawatsky is in the dressing room. He's been disqualified from the game. Think about how big his penalty was. It denies his team a first down and excellent field position.
Another discipline-type penalty costs this BC Lion football team.
The most penalized team in the league. Pasaglia might take off. Now he kicks it. Pretty good kick, actually. Fielded by Harris at the 33-yard line. No flags are down. And Harris dropped to the 33, and now a flag comes down near Pasaglia. A 38-yard punt, all kinds of drama at Taylor Field. We've hit the 3-minute warning. We'll be back right after this.
Oh, hi. It's Midas-Size Days, and that's why we can't afford a color commercial. But what we've saved, we're passing on to you. Until October 26, Midas will give you a lube, oil, and filter, top-up fluids, test antifreeze, rotate your tires, set the pressure, and check lights, hoses, and belts. All for just $34.95. And they'll even inspect your brakes for free. See? It's right here in black and white. Midas, the way it should be. Oh, yeah. Offer ends October 26th.
Valvoline's family of products protect your car in tough Canadian conditions. Valvoline motor oil, the right oil for your car. Pyroil chemicals enhance and protect your vehicle's performance. Xerox brand antifreeze prevents corrosion under extreme operating conditions. TM8 synthetic engine treatment performs to reduce wear on vital engine parts. Do it right. Valvoline, more than just oil. Enter for a chance to win a go-kart at Canadian Tire stores coast to coast. See stores for details.
Uniroyal nose tires aren't always the first thing on your mind. Until you find that pothole out there with your name on it. Trust Uniroyal tires with DuraShield construction, built for puncture resistance, long thread life, and durability. Uniroyal can take the worst the road can dish out and still keep you going. Uniroyal tires, driving dependability home.
Saskatchewan has an 8-point lead here over the BC Lions at Taylor Field in Regina. And when in Regina, the TSN crew stays at the Radisson Hotel Saskatchewan, a grand old hotel in the heart of downtown Regina. The game story thus far, both BC starting quarterbacks or BC's number 1 and 2 quarterbacks have been injured. Don Narcisse is now the CFL's second all-time leading receiver. Mims having a big day, and Jimmy Kemp having a pretty good day as well. We might want to tack on to the end of that 130 yards in penalties of the BC Lions. The latest was on that punt. It's holding, which brings up the good old 3rd and 40 for the BC Lions.
You got to look deep in the playbook for the 3rd and 40 conversion.
Yeah, into the wind. I don't think Pasaglia can kick it to the first marker, never mind the second one. He'd have to hoof it big time just to get it in the area when they need to get to a first down. It's 2 throws in this win. Pasaglia. Low driving kick and a very good kick by Pasaglia.
He almost made the marker.
Ruffin picks it up. That'll be no yards against the BC Lions. Tony Bailey was inside the 5 yards, so they'll tack on 5 for Aaron Ruffin. The kick for Pasaglia went 37 yards, which is the best punt we've seen into the wind today.
Little knockdown 4-iron there into the wind.
Wow.
Pretty nice kick. Now Dave Chaters has to come out on the field and play nose tackle after playing the last 4 plays at left guard, or 2 plays at left guard.
And they mark it off as a 15-yard penalty against the Lions.
Ball will be 1st and 10.
More penalties.
At the BC 49-yard line.
There's Dave Chaters.
Yeah, Chaters is going old-fashioned here. Hey, get the leather helmet on him. He's playing both ways.
Playing both ways.
From the 49-yard line. Kemp gives it off to Mims. And Mims gets stacked up quickly by Virgil Robertson and Maurice Kelly.
I mean, the BC Lions defense knows that Saskatchewan's going to try and run the ball, eat up as much time on the clock as they can, and trying to get into field position so they can get a little few more points, maybe just a field goal, so Virgil Robertson pins his ears back and gets in the backfield to stop Mims.
Big play for the BC defense now. 2nd and 11. Think they're blitzing?
Really is. This is the game for BC. Yeah, I think they'll send the house. You got to go with what brung you.
Here comes the blitz. Drop play to Mims. And the Lions are able to stack it up as he gets down to the 46-yard line. It would be a 53-yard field goal try with the win. Jagus made one from 54.
Well,
in the first quarter.
Jim Daly may go out of the Joe Powell playbook and
try and angle it out of bounds.
Try and angle one out of bounds here and make the BC Lions drive it the length of the field. And he's listening to me going, yeah, okay, Glenn, that's a good idea.
Yeah, he's going to punt it. Mattis will punt. He was going to send Jagus out, but he thinks better of it. With an 8-point lead, he'll just order his punter, Brett Mattis, to use that big win and make sure he gets it out of bounds. And Ted Alford is the lone man back to receive for the BC Lions.
And a single would be big for Saskatchewan here, too.
Yeah. Under 2 minutes to play now in the fourth quarter. Oh, Matich booms it. And it goes out of bounds at the 7. You couldn't ask for a better result than that. A 40-yard punt by Brett Matich, and the Lions are in a deep hole.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you in part by Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. And by Advantage Long Distance Services, providing solutions for business.
Back at Taylor Field. Well, the situation for the Lions is this. They got to go 104 yards into the wind in under 2 minutes. Caravana. He's slinging it. Trevathan's open. Mike Trevathan makes the catch up to the 42-yard line, and just like that, the Lions are up and moving.
They'll go with the hurry up. Huge play, and what a throw by Julio Caravana to put it on a rope to Trevathan. He's going to go to the corner to the left of your screen, but this ball is a rope down the sideline against the wind.
Caravana slings it up again, has a man open. Larry Thompson was in behind the Saskatchewan DBs, and Caravana overthrew him.
Well, Ted Alford had one drop short. That time, Caravana tried to play the wind a little more and put some more on it, and Larry Thompson can't run underneath it, but they had the Saskatchewan defense, Vincent Donaldson and Errol Brown, who's in at the safety position right now. We're in a 3-deep zone and got caught deep there.
Wow. A missed opportunity for the BC Lions. 1:31 to play in the fourth quarter. Caravana sidearms it there for Thompson, and Thompson gets out of bounds, or does he? At the 54-yard line as he's finally thrown down. If he didn't get out of bounds, the clock will start.
And he didn't look like he even thought about getting out of bounds over there, and Larry Thompson knows better. I mean, this guy's a veteran in the league and knows he's got to stop that clock. I think he did.
No, he did not.
Oh, it's starting right now?
The clock will start as soon as the Saskatchewan Roughriders are ready to go, the clock will start. And it's starting now. First down from the BC 54. Caravana quickly to Thompson, and again he's not able to get out of bounds down to the 51. Lots of time, though, for the BC Lions.
Well, there is lots of time, but you still, when you throw an out pattern to the sideline like that, you got to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Every second could be huge for you in this last drive.
They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to force overtime. Caravana in behind Thompson, incomplete.
Yeah, he thought that Larry Thompson was going to run the quick out. Larry Thompson went straight up the field, so the ball goes incomplete. That will stop the clock, however.
Finally. And now BC also has a timeout to use.
Well, Joe Powell has plenty of time at the 50-yard line, Saskatchewan's 50-yard line. Just wants to maintain possession, keep the drive alive.
to Lamar Brim. And Brim gets buried. That'll bring up third in a bunch.
And it'll bring up a whole bunch of people back home questioning the call, I'm sure.
Pardon me, that was third down. Forgive me. The BC Lions turn it over on third down. And on a toss play, Lamar Brim, the rookie, gets stuffed. 59 seconds to go. And it looks like this one has slipped away from BC.
The reviews are in. Leading industry publications agree that Corel WordPerfect Suite 7, the world's best word processor, is now an unbeatable Office suite.
Corel Suites include better internet features than Office or Smart Suite. Feature for feature, the new Corel Suite outperforms the competitors. Now it's Microsoft's turn to play catch-up.
Shouldn't you use the best?
Corel WordPerfect Suite 7. It's unbeatable.
That's all it takes. Hey, look who just turned up. Wait till you see this. Turn out the cup and you can instantly win. Or collect to win spectacular prizes in the Just One Taste of Great Adventures contest. Like Kenwood Hitachi Home Theater Systems. Or you could turn out a stuffed package. More than 1 million prizes, including the Ultimate Adventure Package of a Polaris Snow PWC and ATV. Then turn out the country style and turn out the winner. The country style.
Back at Taylor Field, first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders after the Lions turn it over on downs, and Robert Mims slides across midfield. So, bizarre call by the BC Lions on third down.
Yeah, I would think that Joe Paopao maybe second-guessed a little bit on third and about 4 or 5 to run a toss play.
Well, although in his defense, see the guy holding that marker there in front of him? That said second down. Now, I'm sure he knew it was third, but if he didn't, he looks at that marker and thinks it's second down. Got me anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he knew what down it was, but, you know, third down toss play, it's awful tough to pick up 4 or 5 yards against the defense. It's pretty good against the run.
So Jimmy Kemp, how would you evaluate his performance as he tries to earn a job here in Regina?
I think it was a solid effort from Jim Kemp, and think he's doing a pretty good job of making a statement to his head coach for next season.
13 of 22 he is passing in this game for 207 yards, and Robert Mims carries the mail. Mims down across the 50-yard line will be just short of a Saskatchewan first down. It'll be third and inches.
You punt. You punt the football here. Don't.
Not even a question in your mind, is
Don't
it?
mess around and
Well, guess what? Saskatchewan, I think, is going to gamble because the offense is staying on the field.
One little bobbled snap. BC has 50 seconds from midfield. The short yardage team is going in for Saskatchewan. Or is it the punt? No, it's the short yardage team.
It's the short yardage team. Maddich remains on the sidelines.
Well,
think back to that touchdown that Jimmy Kemp scored where he kind of bobbled the snap a little bit and then lost it at the end. That happens here. There's 50 seconds on the clock, and BC has taken a couple of shots at the end zone.
That's right. They have one more crack.
Now, you've got the league's leading rusher. I guess the thinking is they got to give you a yard. You can probably get one.
I punt.
Third and a yard. Mims.
Whoa,
he got there.
Whoa, he got it.
Flag comes down.
Flag. Well, they'll punt it if it's against Saskatchewan anyway.
It's in that area. It would indicate offside.
Boy,
it's offside BC.
I tell you what, though, Maurice Kelly was in the backfield. If you don't have the #1 rusher and 27 in the game, they get home for a 3-yard loss, and BC has another shot at it.
Robert Mims, 125 yards rushing. He's over 175 in yards from scrimmage. It is a Saskatchewan first down with 30 seconds left.
See that? Maurice Kelly hits him 2 yards deep in the backfield.
And the penalty is declined. The clock will start now with 40 at the 48-yard line and 22 seconds to go. There's nothing the BC Lions can do. Jimmy Kemp will down the football. They'll do that one more time, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders will close out their home schedule with a win over the BC Lions. And a win that will improve the Saskatchewan Roughriders to 5-12 on the year. BC will drop to 4-12.
And maybe more importantly, with the crowd of over 25,000 here in Taylor Field today, they gave their home fans in their last home game something to be happy about in this season and think about for next season.
The game is over, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who trailed after 3 quarters, have won it by a score of 27-19 over the BC Lions, who, the good news is, didn't see it trickle away late in the 4th quarter. The bad news is, suffered injuries to a half dozen of their starting players in the game. Time now for the Radically Canadian Players of the Game, brought to you by Corel. Well, the offensive player, no surprise, the CFL's leading rusher, who turns out more than 175 yards from scrimmage, 125 of them along the ground as he paces the Saskatchewan Roughriders to the win. The defensive player is veteran Dan Rashovich, who led a Saskatchewan defense that held tough, particularly in the 4th quarter. 27-19, Saskatchewan wins it. The CFL Live returns right after this.